The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
It is fun, sun, and savings time at Standard Heating and Air with incredible savings on AC units, heat pumps, and combo deals this month to ensure your air quality is up to snuff this summer. Go to standardheating.com for more info or to schedule your appointment today.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93X.
I brought one other visitor, another special guest. What the hell are you doing? Mr. Sacco! Say hello to Mr. Sacco! Mr. Sacco knows you've been feeling mighty bad, so he's gonna give your boo-boo a big kiss!
What is he gonna do? No! Oh my! The big show! Did you? No, I haven't! He must have thrown him 50 feet! The big show threw mankind off the stage into the grave!
As much as I've dreamed about destroying Hunter Hearst Helmsley,
I know you have.
as many horrible things as I'd like to do to him,
I know you can.
I know someone who dreams about it even more.
Who is it, Manny?
Someone who's willing to do even worse things than I am.
Oh no! Are you thinking what I think you're thinking?
I think I am thinking what you think I think you're thinking. Here he comes.
Where is he?
Cactus Jack. Bang, bang.
Good God! That's it, he's dead. Well, somebody stop the damn match! Enough's enough!
Oh, man, yeah, we're live, ready to give her hell here on the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Good morning, folks. Hey, it looks like we got Ashley back from sick leave. Ashley, you going to be all right?
Yeah, I'm going to be all right. I missed you guys. Hi.
Hi, we missed you as well. Sounds like you were pretty sick.
Yeah, that wasn't fun at all.
And it was kind of a weird deal where, you and I'd be texting and you'd say, gosh, I feel so much better. And then all of a sudden you'd text and say, I've never felt worse.
Yeah.
It was a big roller coaster.
That was the most frustrating part. I always felt good after I woke up from sleeping for maybe like an hour or so. But once I was up for a while, that's when it would start to kick in again. But I slept probably like 17 hours yesterday total.
I was like that last week when I got sick. Same type of thing.
I hate it, though. I was so bored. I was getting so antsy, sick of laying down.
Things weren't looking so good there for a while, but Ashley made it back into the mix. Welcome back. Nice to have everybody all together, full strength. As they say. Today could play out to be a pretty special day. Around 8:30 this morning, we're planning on jaw-jacking over the telephone with a guy who I truly believe is one of the most outstanding, wonderful citizens on planet Earth.
Are you talking about Cactus Jack?
Bang, bang.
Talking about Cactus Jack,
Bang,
Dude
bang.
Love, Mankind, Mick Foley,
Cactus
whatever
Jack.
route
Bang,
you
bang.
want to take. WWE Legend, Hall of Famer, all that, and all that's great. And I loved hearing the audio. that the guy was so entertaining.
I kind of forgot about Mr. Sacco.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice work, Wapple.
Put it right in your mouth, with the mandible claw. But what I'm referring to is more simply the man, not the wrestler. I'm going to steal a line that I've heard Charles Barkley use when talking about one of his former teammates, a guy named Bobby Jones. I'm going to use it to compliment Foley. If everybody on Earth was more like Mick Foley, there would be no war.
Mm-hmm. Mick, is so true.
He is just one of the most selfless people you could ever meet. So, as you can tell, I'm excited. We're all excited to get a chance to talk with him today. It's been a while since we talked to Mick, maybe a smooth decade or so. But he's got some gigs here in town. We'll tell you all about that later.
We were lucky enough to have him in studio at one time. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Tried to trick Nick. It didn't work. The one day it didn't work. At that time, you would go off on him quite often.
Yes.
You would say some disparaging things about him, and so
sarcastically.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
And it was like a kind of a common occurrence at that time. And so we secretly booked an interview with him, and not just on the phone, but in studio. So we had kind of told him, hey, we got a guy in the show, a big wrestling fan. He likes to go off on you as a joke, right? It's a regular bit on the show. And he's like, oh, great, I'll sneak up on him.
Yeah.
So we put him in a different studio where he could hear what was going on.
Yep.
And we tried to bait Nick into, I never asked you after all these years. We tried to bait him into going off on him. And then, of course, we'd reveal he's right behind you. And he did sneak up on him.
He
But
did.
It was
yes.
the one day you said all kinds of nice things about him. I never thought to ask you after all these years. Did you know?
I had no idea.
So you didn't know.
I had no idea.
I mean, it's just the luck of the draw on that one.
You guys played that out perfectly. I could have been dead that morning. I really easily could have been dead because, I had this, like Josh was explaining, this long-running kind of sarcastic bit where I was picking specifically on Mick Foley's autobiography. What the hell was that called?
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. It was an awesome book. It was great. That book, Josh, I think, was what got me interested in reading autobiographies. I never cared much. I was never much for all that fancy book learning and such. You know what I'm saying? Growing up. But when I read Have a Nice Day, Mick Foley's autobiography, it was so well done and so interesting. Suddenly I started reading this other wrestlers' autobiography, rock stars. That was my wheelhouse. But for whatever reason, I don't know, I guess inspired by television wrestling my whole life, I was playing the heel, and I was saying that the book sucked, despite the fact that it was terrific. Next thing you know, WWE comes to town. I got ringside seats. I knew Foley was going to be there as an escort or whatever. He was not going to wrestle. He was going to be managing someone. So I knew I'd get a crack at the guy. So at that event, I'm ringside and I'm heckling Foley the entire time about how his book is boring. And he and I had a real fun back and forth. He's standing on the ring apron and me in the front row. And I think, Josh, I just had so much fun with him that evening. The next morning is when Josh secretly brings Foley into the building. And I think because I had that great give and take with him at the live event, when you tried to bait me that morning to rip the book again, I said nothing but wonderful things.
Yeah,
and
the one and only time you had done that.
I kind of outed myself, I guess, as, I've just been busting his balls. I love the book. And then I see Josh's eyes are no longer locked on mine as we're having a conversation. He's looking beyond me. And what the hell? So I turn around. What is Josh looking at? And there's the effing Mick Foley standing directly behind me.
Just a giant of a man.
So, he is a massive dude. So that was a lot of fun. That was really well done by Josh setting me up like that. But I'm just a massive fan of this guy.
That'll be fun. I wish he was available to come in studio. What a week this would be. You have the Hulkster in earlier this week. And Ashley, I was so sad you missed that.
Yeah, that hurt.
Yeah, I bet it did. I felt bad for you.
It's funny. Every once in a while we'll get folks in here, some bigger celebrities. It's not very often. Some by choice, some not. But I can't believe the level of it. I shouldn't say I can't believe, but it was a little surprising, the level of excitement within this building. There, all the employees that they actually made a trip to the studio, which never happens.
I know, right?
Yeah. They're all waiting out there. He's got a large entourage. By the time Hulk left, there was somewhere in the neighborhood of 30-some folks that showed up out front. That was awesome. And friggin' Ashley wasn't able to come in.
It's so stupid.
Everyone was so pumped.
Pissed.
My wife took off the first part of her day at work to come in here and meet the guy, a childhood hero of hers.
We neglected to mention that part. By the time we were done interviewing Hulk, the lobby was loaded with every employee in the building wanted to meet Hulk Hogan.
There were some that I saw and go, oh, I guess I didn't realize they still worked here. I hadn't seen them in so long.
Maybe they snuck in.
Yeah.
And he was so gracious, took pictures with everybody. And
Josh, you read a lot. Can you think of an autobiography that you've read that just knocked your socks off? have you read Foley's Have a Nice Day?
No, I haven't. I've got the Van Halen one you gave me.
Right.
I've got such a long list of books I want to get through. I'm almost stressed by it. But I do want to read that.
Okay. Speaking of Van Halen, a listener just texted in and said Sammy Hagar's autobiography was enlightening. They called it enlightening.
I didn't know he had one.
Neither did I.
I was surprised. I can't remember if this was an on or off-air conversation, but watching the not Behind the Music, or maybe it was Behind the Music. I forget, on Wolfgang Van Halen recently.
Yes.
I forgot what show it was.
You mentioned
I think
that
you did say it was.
Was it Behind the Music?
It was like the new episodes. Of it.
Okay, that's what it was.
You mentioned that it tore your heart out.
Oh, dude, I almost bawled 3-4 times. It was about, a father-son relationship between he and Eddie Van Halen.
Then again, you can watch a peanut butter commercial on television where a family is eating peanut butter sandwiches and it tears your heart out.
All right, I got to tell you, I'm starting to get concerned about it. We're rewatching House, and I forgot how much I loved that show. And there was an episode. It's always father-son relationships. There was an episode last night between a father and a son.
I'm starting to worry about you too.
I can't. I don't know what's going on.
Why can't you keep it together?
I don't know. It's the point of, there's plenty of times over the years where I'll watch something and I'll think, well, that was touching, But now I like, if somebody were to ask me a question in that moment, I'd be choked up. I don't know what's going on.
Why can't you keep your emotions in check?
Well, it's like you'd have to look at me, or if somebody said something to me and I had to speak, that's when it would really kick in. But yeah, it got my wife too, the Wolfgang Van Halen Behind the Music. I mean, and she's not a fan at all. I mean, she never heard of Wolfgang Van Halen. She's not a rock fan.
No, she
almost bawled a couple times.
She likes the hip hop.
Loves it.
And the pop music.
And she's such a good wife because she never makes me watch that, because I'd have no interest whatsoever. But she'll watch all this metal. Like last night we were watching, in a House episode, they played Baba O'Reilly. And I was telling her, do you remember how great that was when we saw Mr. Big live and they played that song, which they've done for years.
Right.
And so we watched about 5 different versions through the decades on YouTube.
Of Mr. Big performing Baba O'Reilly.
Yeah, and she sat there and pretended she liked it because she's such a good person.
She can't get enough of you.
Spouse.
She can't get enough of you. Here's a listener that says Matthew McConaughey's autobiography was really good, even though he's not a wrestler. Yes. Oh, no. Mike Tramp's autobiography is the worst autobiography ever.
Oh, he had one too? I'd read that.
That's the anti-white lion Radar Love guy texting in.
Oh, is that who it is?
Yeah, he's going after Mike.
Dang it.
Now he's going after lead singer Mike Tramp.
I didn't know he was against White Lion in general. I thought it was just the cover song. Although I got to say, yesterday we got a text from a guy that said, he's heard this bit so often where we've got this hilarious person in the listening audience who texts us. He finds a way to bring up how he thinks Radar Love from White Lion, that cover is terrible.
Yes.
He says the golden earring one, he appreciates. Radar Love from White Lion, he can't stand it.
Yes.
But somebody texted yesterday and said, you know what, after hearing this bit for so long, I listened to it, and he said it's excellent. And I agree. Of course.
It is excellent.
It is an excellent cover. And he even said, dare I say, it's better than the original.
Oh. I'm trying to think now. Chris Jericho. I'm trying to roll through all the autobiographies, rock star wrestler autobiographies that I really enjoyed. Chris Jericho.
I really liked JR's last autobiography he had. I think it was like Under the Hat or something.
He had to write more than one?
Yeah.
Wow.
This one was about everything that happened in the WWE that he couldn't talk about after he left.
Oh, I see.
I've heard the Jericho one's awesome. It doesn't surprise me. He's such an interesting and funny guy. He also seems like a very nice person.
The Young Bucks one was really good.
Paul Stanley, Slash. People are texting in some of the autobiographies that they've enjoyed. It doesn't have to be a rock star or a wrestler, but that was where I went for a stretch of years. I gave it up. I haven't. I don't have the time anymore to read anybody's book about anything. But for a stretch of time, I was dialed into it. Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, his autobiography is incredible, says a listener. That stuff is fun. It can be, if you have the time, and if it's well done.
I remember reading the band's autobiography, and I was absolutely blown away with what has happened with that band. Like Robbie Robertson, the Thanksgiving stuff with Martin Scorsese, Levon Helm rolling his car, almost dying.
I got to tell you,
Dude.
I've never been able to bring myself to give half a pump about the band. I don't know why.
I'm embarrassed to say I have no idea what you're talking about.
I absolutely
You don't know the band?
What is the band?
See, there
Take
you go.
a load off Fanny.
Yeah.
Take a load for free.
This is my experience. The artsy-fartsy, deeper music fan worships the band.
Okay,
Yep.
I was even going to ask, is
Yep.
the band a wrestling group? So it's
No.
an actual band.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, they sing The Weight.
Right.
There's a documentary that's it's mostly a performance, but also a little bit documentary called The Last Waltz. It's actually fantastic.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the tiff that they had between Robbie Robertson and the rest of the band.
Unfortunately, my experience with fans of the band hasn't been positive. You see what? Because they can't wait to talk about the band for 20 minutes, right? And when you want to come back and say, well, you know who I'm into, Van Halen, they'll just turn their back and walk away. They don't want to hear anything about, hard rock or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go
I don't know, what are the other terms? Sea rock, what?
Oh, yeah,
Acid
yeah.
rock, you know what I'm
Butt
saying?
rock. I always
Butt
like that
rock.
term.
No, they don't. They don't. I just spent 20 minutes listening to why they love the band. As soon as I want to talk about how much I love Van Halen, they got no time for that. So I haven't had. There's a snobbiness about it. That's just my experience.
Going back to the Matthew McConaughey one, is that the one where we learned his dad liked to bang hookers or died banging a hooker?
His dad died banging his mom.
Oh, dang it, I said a hooker. All right, so
Maybe his mom was a hooker. I guess I'm not sure.
I'm going to say maybe not. But so his dad died having sex with his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that did first surface in his book. I don't know.
A couple of people are having the same issue that I started in the last couple of years with just getting really emotional. At stuff that I think warrants some feeling, but maybe not as deep as it's been hitting me. Big bearded Jared, who you guys know is a big muscular monster.
Yep.
He is someone that he said, I'm having the same problem getting choked up. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't either. And hot and spicy, crunchy, nutty, tasty, chewy Jesus said he has the same problem. For some reason, stuff chokes me up now. WTF.
I'm the same way, Josh. I get made fun of relentlessly at home because I get choked up by everything.
Have you always been that way? Because this is new to me. I mean,
do the two of you have a similar chemical imbalance or something?
I wonder.
Have you tried listening to the band?
You just wouldn't understand, man. The band, they're just so good.
I can't believe I've never heard of this group. I mean, are they played on radio stations and all that kind of stuff?
None that I listen to.
Okay.
I would much rather, again, listen to Van Halen or, Megadeth or Iron Maiden or Judas Priest, but that's my style, so.
Not too long ago, both of us were on a big Megadeth kick.
Oh,
yeah. You'd be like, you know what I listened to? You'd say, I'm like, I listened to that last night, too.
My latest kick now, it's nothing new. I just keep cycling back and forth through the same, 10, 12 bands. I've been listening to nothing but Judas Priest lately. Referee Rob Page. He's a local living legend. Many years in the squared circle. I wonder, I think he's told us before that he's had some run-ins with Mick Foley at live events. Get back to us, Referee Rob Page. I thought not that long ago we were talking about Foley, and you said you had worked with the man before, and he was wonderful, which wouldn't surprise anybody because, like I said, I think he's one of the greatest citizens we have on planet Earth today. Referee Rob Page, are you joking? He said Bret Hart has an excellent autobiography.
It was really good.
Oh, come on.
It was.
Okay, he must have wrote a second one then, because I read one years ago, and I think I was done with it in 20 minutes. It was. He must have had a different one then. Okay.
I wonder how many of these autobiographies are actually autobiographies. I'd imagine they have ghostwriters.
They do, I think, a lot of times.
I don't know.
I have a guy I'm friendly with, so an acquaintance. Good dude who he's a ghostwriter, and he's written some big stuff. Local guy. So he's written, he can write anything. So it's a huge variety of different quote-unquote autobiographies. That doesn't seem right.
Well, that's kind of misleading. What do you mean?
Well, apparently, it's very common, he said. Very common, like a lot of these.
Well, now I got to go back and look at these autobiographies and see if they were... I'm fairly sure they were all written by the people.
Well, you wouldn't know. That's why they're a ghostwriter.
Well,
Right? They get no credit. Like, he gets no credit for what he does, but he's an incredible writer.
Okay, I'm confused. There are people out there who can write someone else's autobiography?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
they're called ghostwriters. Not writers.
And then when I open up the book and it says written by, who does it say it's written by?
The person who it's about.
The person who it's about, do they have any idea that this ghostwriter is writing their story?
Yeah.
Yeah, they hire them.
Mm-hmm. They hire them.
Oh, you're talking about just the physical act of writing.
Well, not just like they're the secretary typing something up. They write the book, and then you put your name on it.
Yeah, they basically...
Like what would happen... I'm sorry, Waffle, this is the way he described it to me. So you want to have an autobiography for whatever reason.
Yes.
I would interview you. You'd tell me all kinds of stories.
Yes.
I'd ask you questions, things that might be interesting for a book, and then I would write that book.
Okay.
But it would be because it's your stories, you'd be the one that says authored by, Nick Bourne.
Yeah, I was going to say that exact same thing.
But
you probably would have said it better.
No. Oh, God, no.
You're writing a book about me again, Josh. That's the scenario.
Yeah.
You would have to clear everything with me before it's written, though.
Yeah, it's because it's your story.
Okay.
Yeah. They read it and,
I got lost, and I thought you were saying there were people out there like I would just step up one day and write a story about the life of Madonna, right? You see what I'm saying? And then Madonna says, wait a minute, I didn't. Okay.
Maybe that's possible. Maybe that's happened that way, too.
You just watch a bunch of interviews and stuff online and then write a book about it?
To me,
it's basically a biography, but the difference is... I as the ghostwriter, I'm interviewing you specifically, asking you what would you like in that. You're telling me all the stories. I
was thinking shady things,
it does kind of seem a little chintzy, in a way, because you're picturing, going back. I'm just going to throw out a name, Nikki Sixx. You're picturing him sitting behind a typewriter, right? And he's typing his own story.
Yes, obviously, I know that there are writers who are hired to handle those things for. A celebrity who wants their story told. Back to Mick Foley, I thought one of the most interesting things about his first book, Have a Nice Day, I read this in the book, he sat down and wrote the pig by hand.
Mm-hmm. He still has it in all the notebooks.
Yes. And again, one more, I got to clear this up. Bret Hart must have written a second, much more polished, much more detailed autobiography because I read one from him many years ago. And speaking of ghostwriters, to me, it came off like his ghostwriter was a third grader. I'd like to read his story again, a better version.
Backyard Haircut Jesus said Wikipedia was the ghostwriter for so many of my papers in college. You never once gave Wikipedia credit, huh?
Oh man. Did I go to the Judas Priest concert here a couple weeks ago? No. A couple of my bros did. I can't go out on weeknights anymore. I missed the latest Judas Priest concert.
And a lot of people texting in saying as they get older, they're a little more emotional, a little easier, and someone says they have an answer. It is called menopause.
Oh, yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I've heard you use that term before.
I think my wife says she's in the early stages of menopause, and I have some sympathy menopause.
Was there anything you watched last night that caused you to almost lose control of your emotions and bawl uncontrollably?
Well, this hurts my feelings because I did just say a few moments ago I watched an episode of House that got me last night.
Right. Sorry. House, was that the medical show or whatever?
Yeah.
Never saw it.
That makes sense.
Okay, then before last night. I'm kidding. I'm not trying to test everything that you.
Jesus said, have you read Jesus' autobiography? The Bible, I think it's called. Yeah, I have heard about that. Did he write it, though? I thought they had some other folks that wrote it.
Yeah, ghostwriters.
Jesus hired out.
I've checked in on that story a time or two. Oh, boy, was that guy full of himself.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he made some claims that seem a little unbelievable.
Yeah.
Back dimple sheezes on the topic of rock star, famous person, whatever, wrestler autobiographies. They're not all great. Back dimple sheezes says Eric Clapton needs to stick to songwriting. Sounds like he didn't write the great. What, do you know something about that? What's your name, Waffle?
No, I could just picture him not having a good autobiography. I don't know.
I've seen the man. I've seen the man recently. Boy, I was watching a documentary recently about somebody, and Eric Clapton contributed, and he seems like a bright guy with a sense of humor. I mean, it's not the easiest thing in the world to write down your life story.
Now that I'm thinking back, I mean, he does have a lot of great stories, like going through treatment and, losing his son.
Oh, that's
Uh-oh, Cubby,
story.
hang on now.
What?
Well, Wapple just said losing his son.
Oh, that's
as
tough.
Simple as that. I didn't want you to lose your...
Pancakes by the Lake. Jesus wants to know if, like him, I cry at commercials. Yes. There's a few that'll get me. I mentioned before, any of those military ones, those get me.
Yeah, you sound like me, John.
You're in the same boat?
Yeah.
I cannot watch the John Cena video. Someone's just sitting there interviewing him, and then all of a sudden, all the Make-A-Wish people that he's helped come in and bum rush him. And they're telling stories about him and how he helped their lives. Oh, boy.
That'll knock a guy on his ass for sure.
Well, he sets the record, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody's granted more Make-A-Wishes than John Cena.
This is very flattering, a text that I just received from NWO Jesus, who said that I need to write my own autobiography. He says, with all your stories of your hockey days, Maple Lake, hanging with Michael Strahan, touching another guy's penis. I don't know, maybe I should. And many other great stories, he says. That's very complimentary. And I know what everyone's thinking. Michael Strahan? That's not what anyone's thinking. If you don't know the penis story, it's maybe not the way NWA Jesus presented it right there, but there is a story there. There is. All right, what else is going on? What do we got going on today? Mick Foley. Mick Foley, did I miss anything?
Randy Shaver will be back on his severely delayed microphone.
Oh, God, that's right.
Now, that's when I
take pauses.
That's when I get emotional.
Yeah, you get frustrated.
Yes, that's when I get emotional. The technical difficulties we have around here. You're a terrific crowd. We appreciate you tuning in. I love all the text messages on the books that maybe one day I'll get back into reading people's life stories. We appreciate all the what's the word I'm looking for? Information on who you loved and who you didn't. So there you go. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back in a minute here on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Are you ready to beat the heat this summer? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is here to help you say goodbye to sweltering heat and hello to ultimate comfort. Ashley, what specials do they have going on this month?
It is fun, sun, and savings time at Standard Heating and Air with incredible savings on AC units, heat pumps, and combo deals this month to ensure your air quality is up to snuff this summer. Go to standardheating.com for more info or to schedule your appointment today.
This episode brought to you by Progressive. Whether you're driving, cooking, or doing laundry, Progressive knows the podcasts you listen to go best when they're bundled with another activity, much like how their Progressive home and auto policies go best when they're bundled. Having these two policies together makes taking care of your insurance easier and could help you save too. Customers who save by switching their home and car insurance to Progressive save over $775 on average. That's a whole lot of savings and protection for your favorite podcast listening activities, like going on a road trip, cooking dinner, and even hitting the home gym. Yep, your home and your car are even easier to protect when you bundle your insurance together. Find your perfect combo. Get a home and car insurance quote at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $779 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right. I hate to put anybody on the spot here, but we're welcoming Ashley back after missing a couple days. She's been sick. How many days now? A couple listeners were busting my chops on the text machine. How many days now has Ashley missed or been late so far in the year 20 plus 24? Because don't we have some money on this again?
We do.
We do?
I think we do.
We have some kind of bet.
I remember whatever it was, I am going to win.
And I owe you a lot of money.
Yeah, I may have taken the over. I may have taken the under. I don't care. At the end of this, I'm going to pretend I won.
We'd like to get on Ashley's case for how often she's late and how often she misses days. And I don't remember the agreement or the bet. So, or maybe you have it in front of you, Josh. Do you have the parameters?
So we set the parameters for this year as she should be at her little station there by 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
Which, it's the last person that gets here, so it's not like an unreasonable expectation.
Not by a long shot.
And the reason we did that is because for a while she'd skate in at 5:39 and we'd show, at 5:40.
Right.
So this isn't meant to be disparaging. We're just throwing out facts. Right?
Facts.
Because I don't want to say something and somebody in today's vernacular goes, cap, which would indicate that I'm lying. This is all true. We have an Ashley tracker.
Uh-huh.
So, late days so far in the year of 2024.
Okay.
About halfway through. 33. Now, keep in mind, that could mean 5:01 or later.
Come on, 33?
33 days.
All right.
Later than 30 minutes. 2.
2 days she was later than 30 minutes.
2 days. Sick days, 5. I mean,
Okay.
you're sick. What are you going to do?
So that's a
I don't believe she's faked a sickness.
That's a grand total of 38, as we put it around here, affected days.
Well, 40, right?
Oh, 40. Okay. I thought maybe the 2 30-minute laters were lumped in with the... Anyway, 40 affected days
Yeah,
in the year.
yeah, you're right. I separated those.
Okay. So that's a hell of a number. Do you remember what number she had to surpass in order for you to win the money, or whatever the case may be?
It was much higher than previous ones, because what was the... You set an over-under maybe 2 years ago, Wapple, for how many days she would be gone.
I think that was 21.
I remember it was high. Right? It was
like 21 or 30. It was right around there.
All right. Now we know where we're at. People were wondering. Any comments, Ashley? You seem quite pleased that we're having this conversation.
Well, people are asking.
I mean, you agreed to the thing, whatever the thing was. We don't remember.
I didn't know we were doing it this year.
You didn't know?
Well,
No.
yeah. Remember we talked. That's when we implemented the 5 a.m.
Of course, you know about it. We
thought-
we
Yeah,
talked
I thought
about
that
it.
was last year.
No.
I don't know. I get confused.
Any further comments?
No.
Okay.
Does this inspire you though? Like, hey, you know what?
Well, a lot of the time it's like 5:01 or 5:02, so it doesn't bother me at all.
I definitely mentioned that, but that is late.
That's late.
And again, you have permission to be the last one here.
Right.
Some people, including myself, believe if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. That's how I roll. But you know what? But you can do it how you want. You just need to be sitting in your seat by 5 to not be considered late. I kind of like it when it gets higher. To be honest with you, when we do these check-ins, it's fun to throw out these huge numbers.
Yeah.
But you've been early a few times. Maybe we should track some of those too.
Someone keep track of her early.
We're up to about 2 because we do notice.
You just need it. All you need is just a real little tiny piece of paper, and you can keep track of her early appearances here.
Does it count because now I have to bring you guys printed papers and stuff? Does that count?
Well, you
what
have to
time I
sit
bring
down.
you those?
You have to sit down to print it.
No, I don't.
I'm sorry, you're trying
print
it
it
No,
from
because
here.
Wapple prints it
She
for me.
sends it to me, and then I
in
print it.
advance. So usually I go. Most of the time, I'll just go straight to the printer when I get here instead of coming in here. And
Are
sitting
you
down.
trying to get a little leeway because you hit a print button 2 or 3
Well,
times?
she just said she doesn't even hit it, so that's Wapple doing the work.
Yeah.
Right. That would be
I don't have access to the printer from my laptop.
Well, where does Wapple print it?
He prints it from his.
Okay, this is boring. This is boring. One other topic now before we get into the stupid news. Josh?
I just want to say one thing.
Oh, yes.
Ashley, what if you set your alarm 1 minute early?
1 minute.
And then those 5:01 days would be gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just 1 minute early.
I know. I've done that before, and it doesn't help.
It's a fascinating study is what this is, really, deep down. It's a fascinating study into the human psyche. One other subject before we start banging out the stupid news. Josh was telling us about how the older he gets, the more easily he becomes emotional. And a few listeners texted in and said they're having the same problem. You probably already know this, but tell me, Cubby, a listener texted in and said you're losing testosterone as you get older, and that's why you find yourself crying while watching Hamburger Helper commercials.
Yeah, it could be.
When you see
I'm
the
sure.
family,
It's got to be something, right?
the kid sees the hamburger helper on the stove and goes, "Oh wow, hamburger helper!"
And you
then
look at
mom
the
and
kid's
dad-
face, you go, "Oh, look at that family moment. He's so happy."
and you're bawling.
Yeah.
You're a pile.
That makes sense. People have, there's a lot of folks in the same situation, and I appreciate you all joining in on this. It's nice to, be a part of a group.
Yeah.
And they're saying, the difference was kids, and that I definitely noticed a change with and when my dad passed, that didn't help. So you see some of these relationships, and that's a part of it. But it's got to be you're losing testosterone or something, right?
That's what one listener texted. Is that what caused our hair to dive bomb off of our skulls and onto the ground? Is it low testosterone?
I heard it was the opposite.
Oh, it's high testosterone.
Yeah. Well, we could Google that, but somebody told me that it was higher testosterone.
So the folks who are running around bald are the manliest of all. Is that what you're saying? Higher testosterone?
That's the world I want to live in.
Okay, fair enough.
But I've heard that before.
All right. Well, try and keep it together. Let's see if we can keep you from getting emotional here in the stupid news. We're coming in hot, I think, with our first story from today's report. I think you'll agree. Now, I don't know much about this, that Elon Musk dude or what he does. I know you guys have told me before, but I always forget. I know some of you know his story. He factors into this here stupid news story right away. It says here, okay, help me out again. What does he do for a living?
Well, I don't know if you'd call him an entrepreneur or, what
I don't even know what his title
What's
would
he
be.
famous for?
Tesla and SpaceX.
Oh, sure.
Twitter.
Oh, yeah, now X, yep.
Oh, wow. He started that?
No, he
He bought it and then ruined it.
He purchased these companies. SpaceX, I'm not sure if he founded that.
I think he founded that.
Because Tesla, I thought I'd heard that he actually bought that from someone else or something.
Did he ruin Twitter?
He's a successful businessman.
How did he ruin Twitter, Ashley?
Just changed a lot of what people liked about it.
And he's, one of the. He and Elon Musk go back and forth on who's the richest guy in the world.
Elon Musk and who go back and forth?
And I already forgot. It's Jeff Bezos. What did I say? Did I say something?
You said he and Elon Musk when we were already. Yeah.
Why didn't you know what I was thinking? Yeah, Jeff Bezos, the Amazon guy.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that he ruined Twitter. That's a damn shame. Here's the story. A former employee of what they call here Elon Musk's controversial brain implant company called Neuralink. A former employee of that joint, Neuralink, where they put brain implants in different places. This former employee, she claims in a lawsuit that she was scratched by a monkey infected with herpes while on the job. And she says she was later fired for being pregnant. No, the herpes monkey scratch wasn't the cause of her pregnancy.
That was my first question.
That is a good guess. All right. The gal goes by the name of Lindsay Short. She claims, she got caught up in a hostile, unsafe, and discriminatory work environment over there at Neuralink. She's suing for wrongful termination, gender discrimination, retaliation, and a painful monkey scratch. Here's the deal with this Neuralink setup. They do brain implants, by God. They were founded by that Musk fella, and they've done extensive testing on monkeys. Short, the lady, claims the company did not provide her with proper protective gear while working with the monkeys. She says a damn monkey that was hauling herpes around scratched her through the gloves she was wearing, and she also said one herpes monkey scratched her face.
Oh. That would suck, being scratched by an animal. Ouchie. Had that dog several times, right? A monkey, I would think, would maybe do more damage. And a herpes-infected monkey, that's just not fair.
Mm-hmm. Not fair to anybody. So according to the lady, she was scolded for these incidents and was told there would be severe repercussions if another incident occurred. Well, then, she says they put the blame on her. for the monkey scratch. She was fired in the year 20 plus 23 for performance issues, but she claims her termination was retaliation for the monkey incident, and she said it came the day after she told Human Resources that she was pregnant. What a story, huh?
Isn't that crazy to think you work in a place where you might go home with a scratch from a herpes-infected monkey? That's pretty unique.
Yeah, it is.
I'd keep an eye on my lunch, if that was... we're working with monkeys all day long. I imagine your bologna sandwich might go missing now and again if there's monkeys doing backflips in the hallways.
And Steelers fan Jesus, I had the same question. Who gave the monkey herpes? I mean, Dana's mom, of course, comes to mind.
Oh, come on.
But did they on purpose give the monkey herpes, maybe for some studying or comedy?
I don't know why the monkey had herpes or how, or if it was a comedy bit. I mean, maybe it was Herpes Monkey Friday, where everyone can loosen up a little bit.
Because, remember we gave our little monkey an STD.
I had gonorrhea.
Remember that?
Now, this Neuralink joint, they're not screwing around. They recently implanted a chip in a human's brain for the very first time. Says here, a quadriplegic guy received the brain implant, and now he can play video games hands-free. Is that right?
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
But not everybody is falling down and touching themselves over what that Neuralink company does. According to a recent report, around a dozen monkeys died. Around a dozen monkeys died, what they call here harrowing deaths, after receiving a Neuralink chip during testing trials. So they were according to some people, they were putting chips in monkeys' brains, and they didn't do it right, and the monkey flops around like a crappie for a while and dies a terrible death.
Back to the herpes monkeys, though. I wonder if somebody has ever been so desperate, cheating, they got caught cheating on their spouse, because they got tested positive for herpes. No, I swear, I got scratched by a herpes monkey, babe.
Well, it'd be believable now.
Yeah, I suppose you could try that one.
Wapple, you're my little herpes monkey.
What the hell is going on? Oh, if I had the time and a few extra bucks, I might give this a shot. But you guys know this about me. I've brought this up many times. A parrot that can curse its ass off is up for adoption. I think this is out in stupid New York. An animal shelter out that way is trying to find this parrot a new home. His name is Pepper. And he is
I don't mind that name.
Yeah, I like that name.
That's kind of a cool name.
All right, I could live with that.
I was looking through the social media page of the Humane Society that's adopting this out, and there were so many people that said, I've never once wanted a bird until now.
Oh, yeah.
That was a pretty common thing. Like, this is the bird I want. I know you've always wanted a smoking monkey and a foul-mouthed bird.
Yes, I have. I've always wanted a monkey that can smoke and drink beer. I want to put him on a bicycle or a tricycle and just go town to town, raking in bucks and picking up chicks. And I've always dug the idea of a foul, just Andrew Dice Clay level foul-mouthed bird in my house. And I've always been talked out of it, both the smoking, beer-drinking monkey and the swearing parrot. People have talked me out of it by saying it's a lot of laughs, but a hell of a lot of work. Now, Pepper, and I don't like work. I'm not Ashley, but I don't like work. He's what you call a white-fronted Amazon-style parrot. Maybe some of you know what that means. He was taken away from his home last week. The previous owner had to leave town for good, couldn't bring the bird with him. The shelter that's got Pepper now says those seriously interested in adopting him must be able to handle his foul mouth. What a riot, I bet that is. The shelter wrote on Facebook, bringing home a cursing parrot might seem like a fun idea until Pepper offends Grandma's Tuesday night knitting group. On the bright side, if you want to keep unannounced company from dropping in, adopt Pepper. They'll think twice after being cussed out by your new foul-mouthed, feathered friend. Maybe some of you are wondering where Pepper learned to cuss. It's a pretty cute story. Says here, Pepper used to live with a dog. The dog didn't listen to his owner much, so the owner would regularly ask the dog, "Hey, do you want me to kick your ass?" And Pepper picked up on that line and others.
Remember the stupid news story about there was a bird that was a bad influence on other birds, a swearing bird, and then all the other birds in the cage started swearing and they had to separate them
Yes,
and try
I
and
do.
retrain all these birds?
I do.
That's pretty good.
I think it was something like they had 200 birds at this zoo or something. Half of them had been exposed to the swearing bird. The other half had not. And like you said, they were keeping them separate because they're already dealing with 100 birds F-bombing everybody who walks into the zoo. They didn't want another 100 jumping in because I understand.
It was this one bird.
Yeah, one bird.
Like the one cool bird. He showed up in a leather jacket. He just got off a Harley Davidson.
Smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, everybody's thinking, this guy's cool. And then his foul mouth, pardon the pun, he got everybody else swearing too.
From what I understand about birds, the ones who can, talk, if that's what you want to call it, where they're really just mimicking sounds, but whatever. They love to play along. Like, they love to learn. Mm-hmm. And so when they learn something new, they just beat it into the ground, which, again, would make for a lot of fun. When you have a bird in your house, it learns the F word, and it wants to show that off day after day. Since posting about this bird, Pepper, a few days ago, the shelter has received more than 300 calls. People want them pretty bad. Like Josh said, people have been saying, I never wanted a bird until now.
I'd be so much more excited to go to the zoo if I knew there was a bird there waiting to roast me as I walked by.
Oh, without a doubt.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah. Dude, that is a brilliant idea. Yeah, have just one like adults only night.
Yeah.
Just bring in just some very hurtful birds. Ones that are really good at it.
You can make some money, $25 a head, walk it in,
You
gets
got like
insulted.
the Lisa Lampanelli of birds there. Where you just walk out and your feelings are hurt and you're disappointed that you went.
I paid money for this?
You're shattered.
That bird was so hurtful.
You better know what you're doing if you want this Pepper the cursing parrot. They want his next home to be his last. He's already had 2 previous owners. Okay, fair enough. They want someone who understands how chatty and loud birds can be. Amazon parrots like old Pep can live to be more than 30 years. They say he's around 5. So you might have until the day that you die, depending on how old you are. Apparently, Pepper has been verbally harassing the staff over there at the shelter. He bites at him, and he called one guy a bitch-ass bitch.
That's good.
Nailed it.
Good luck, Pepper. Let him know, son.
The equivalent of a swearing bird in my life would be the bus, the school bus. As my son, he wasn't much of a foul-mouthed character until he started riding the bus, and boy, had he learned some things. I remember that's where the real education was.
Absolutely.
Because, you're a 6th grader on a bus with maybe a sophomore in high school if you share a school, and you're learning all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you, I think I can say this. A couple weeks back.
Someone get called a bitch-ass bitch?
No. A couple weeks back, my wife and I were in the kitchen with my son, and he made a joke about a woman being aroused, right? About getting someone's mom, quote unquote, wet.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Sure.
And I was shocked, And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, why would you say something like that, especially in front of your mom? Why would you make a joke like that? And he was shocked, like didn't understand at all what I meant. He's like, why are you so upset? Because he didn't understand the joke, right?
He didn't know what he was saying.
No, and that's happened a couple times where he didn't get it. And he was mortified, of course, when he realized he said in front of his own mom. He thought it was just kind of an innocent your mom joke, and it just disgusted me. But I must say, I was impressed. He used it perfectly. I mean, he really it was the perfect opportunity to use that joke, but he had no idea what he was saying. And I had to ask him, where'd you pick something like that up?
How old is he now?
12.
He's gotten taller. We saw him the other day. He's getting taller.
He's pretty tall for his age.
See, when I was a 1st grader, I certainly knew quite a range of foul words from hanging out with my dad and his hillbilly buddies. My brother and I, we were maybe that swearing parrot that taught the others. My brother and I were kind of infamous. We knew all the curse words and how to use them before any other kids in our neighborhood. But what I was not familiar with as a first grader was hand gestures. And one day on the playground, I remember this like it was yesterday, and these two guys ended up being two of my best lifelong friends. Two guys on the playground gave me the finger from across the playground. This is before we became friends. We ended up being friends. I gave him the finger back. Of course, the teacher only saw me do it, and I got
the second guy.
Yes,
Yep.
I got in trouble, and I remember her asking me, "Do you know what that means?" And I had to say no, because I didn't. I didn't know F-U, middle. I didn't know, and I was disappointed in myself that I didn't know.
I've had that feeling. I had my dad busted me for saying the S word. I was maybe third grade, and he's like, "Do you even know what that means?" And I had no idea what it meant. I had heard it from an older kid in the neighborhood, and he said, because I was asking him, well, what's the big deal? And he said, all right, if you can tell me what it means, you're allowed to say it. And I couldn't. I was trying to make something up. I couldn't come up with it. I had no clue.
Third grader?
Third grade.
At that point, you knew poo-poo.
Oh, yeah.
And poopy.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, I wouldn't say, I got to take a dump in front of my parents. It was, it was just far too dirty.
They'd give you a beating.
Yeah. And so he told me, he's like, don't use words if you don't know what they mean. And I thought, under different circumcisions, I might be really embarrassed. But in that case, it was a lesson well learned.
That's good stuff. Hey, back to parrots real quick. Show me your balloon knot Jesus.
Oh, my gosh.
Has texted into the program. He has a 40-year-old parrot. He sent me a picture. He has a 40-year-old parrot that drinks shots. His name is Jose.
Jose.
He sent me a picture of Jose, and he's got a shot of hooch in front of him. That doesn't sound right.
More anxiety than hair. Jesus said his nephew one time did the tongue between the two fingers gimmick to his sister.
Oh, no.
Boy. And then when he found out what it meant, he was mortified. It reminds me of another time
I've always hated the tongue between the fingers.
I don't like that either. Especially if somebody wags it, that's even worse. That's too far.
Makes me think of the movie Kingpin, and that scene just disgusts me.
Yuck. Yeah, you really shook something loose there,
yes.
Tiger.
Where were you going with this?
So another moment with my son a couple years back, he made a your mom joke to me, right? It was big at his school, these your mom jokes.
Your mom, sure.
And when I told him that my mom was his grandmother, he sunk. I mean, he just basically walked away and was miserable the rest of the day.
He made that connection in his head
Didn't realize
finally.
that was the connection.
I mentioned how disappointed I was in myself as a first grader when I was asked, what does the middle finger mean? And I didn't know, because I kind of prided myself on being, like I said, my brother and I prided ourselves on being the filth kings of Widston Elementary High School. That doesn't make any sense. Widston Elementary School in Wayzata, Minnesota. We prided ourselves on that. I have always just thought that the middle fingers up to your face, blah, 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 I've always thought that was just the dumbest looking move, right? Oh, I told you this, I think. A year or two ago, some friend of mine showed up at a party with some old high school photos, and there was one of me doing the middle finger with the tongue wagging in between, and I was so disgusted in myself. I had no memory of ever doing that. And I said to the friend of mine, I said, please do me a favor and throw that picture in the friggin' trash. And he didn't get it. He thinks the tongue and middle finger is cool and funny. He always says. So he's like, why? What do you mean? I said, look at what I'm doing. It's so dumb.
Yeah, it's not to be a total prude, but it's a little too crass for me.
Oh, it sucks. It's always sucked.
I mean, creative, certainly creative, but yuck. So let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
It sounds like we both feel the same about it.
My stomach hurts, really. The thought that I did that even once in my life.
This might be tough, but imagine yourself at a bar. Should I give you a minute?
Sure.
Are you picturing what it might be like if you were at a bar?
They sell beer, alcohol.
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe you're even sitting at the bar.
Anyone's welcome. Okay,
yeah,
sure.
That type of place, right? And there's like a bartender. So across the way, there's a lady, and you think, wow, she's something to look at. look at her.
Yes.
I'd love to talk to her.
Yes.
And she did that thing to you, right? She made the Y.
I have seen women do that gesture. Okay.
So let's say, would that do anything for you? Is that different? Because to me, that is different.
It would get me to cross over to the other side of the bar and ask her what her name is.
Yeah.
Because I'm a slut. It wouldn't be my favorite gesture for a woman to make to me across the bar, but it would get me to walk over and buy her a drink. It would. So there's a double standard there, I guess.
Oh, yes, certainly. There's plenty of double standards. You don't feel right about it, but it's just how it goes. So let me ask you this then.
Yes,
do you think your distaste for that gesture, and boy, I should have phrased that differently, is because you don't like the act?
No.
Okay, that's nothing to do with it.
No. The split fingers and the tongue in the middle has nothing to do with my complete lack of interest in providing oral sex to a woman. That comes from just the fact that it's totally gross.
See, okay, the gesture?
Yeah, no, the act.
See,
the act.
We have completely opposite views
Totally
on that.
gross.
We have completely opposite views on that.
You enjoy that?
Oh, my God, yeah.
What is wrong with you?
My wife doesn't like it, though. Maybe I don't do it right.
She and I should spend the weekend together.
Probably not.
we would get
I don't like your tone, Ashley. There's one way to find out. Wapple, get over here.
All right. I hate to dwell on this, but one more story about the split fingers and the tongue gesture, which is the dumbest of any gesture ever made in human history. My friggin' wife. Oh, for Christ's sake, look at me. You can tell my blood pressure is on the rise.
Yeah, your body temperature is...
Just because you brought her up. You brought her up, and now look at me.
I didn't.
She and her best friend, aren't folks talking about Justin Timberlake these days?
Yeah,
What happened?
D-dub.
Did he get a D-dub?
He did. Mm-hmm.
The cops aren't going to be happy until every one of us has one. My friggin' wife and her best friend years ago went to go see that puke bag in concert, Justin Timberlake. And they just so happened to have these seats somewheres in the middle of the, the main floor, where they sat down and said, hey, right in front of them was some kind of a little mini stage, right? And they said to themselves, wow, this is obviously some kind of a mini... they assumed eventually Justin Timberlake is going to appear on that stage, and then they're going to have front row seats for whatever he planned to do on that mini stage. And sure as hell it played out exactly that way. Halfway through the show, the lights go completely black, then the lights come up, and there he is, Justin Timberlake, standing right... My friggin' wife, she could have grabbed his wad if she wanted to, and he starts singing a love song to the middle part of the main floor. And she's loving it. She loves that guy.
Does she really?
She loves Justin Timberlake. She thinks he's just such a talented singer and all that. And I actually do like him, too. I was joking when I called him a puke bag. I think he's a talented guy. I like some of his movies. Anyway, so here he is singing this heartfelt love song, and my friggin' wife has just locked eyes with Justin Timberlake. She looks to her right, and her best friend, they're feet away from her best friend is doing the middle finger, the tongue through the split, and Timberlake locks eyes now with my friggin' wife's friend, and he makes a facial expression that leads my friggin' wife to believe that he was completely disgusted by it. What are you doing? He's singing this. Why? He might have come close to saying on the mic, why are you doing that?
Jace texted in and said, when will Justin Timberlake get his license back? It's going to be May. He's got people that can drive him until May.
Yeah. What the hell was that? That's terrible. Terrible.
I needed that. I had quite the day yesterday. Thank you for that.
You like that one?
Yeah.
All right. We went so sideways here. I got time for one more quick one. Then we got to get the hell out of the way. We just do. Have any of us been playing your Nintendo Switch?
Of course.
Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
It's a lot of laughs.
Mm-hmm.
We actually gave ours away.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Well, you have the PS5 and the Xbox, don't you?
No,
already?
just the Xbox.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want to start anything, but yeah, we have an Xbox. Because Dana, didn't I offer it to you at one point and you said you got everything? I did, yeah. Because you were nice enough to give me a grill.
Oh, yeah.
I get excited about the Nintendo Switch.
I bet you do.
Look at me, Josh. Look at
grinning from ear to ear.
Oh, gross! You're doing the thing. Oh no! Where's your tongue?
Yeah, I want to lick it. I want to lick your Nintendo Switch.
Nintendo.
You even have to do the sound.
Oh, he's playing some Tomb Raider doing that.
It's a friggin' radio show. I got to do that. Here's something for you. Here we are in China. Chinese customs officials at a place called the Lin Tang Port, whatever that is. They noticed a real top-heavy lady come walking by. Ba-boom. She had some bombs on her. She did. She was looking to get on a boat or an airplane or whatever they do at this port. The customs officials saw that she seemed nervous, so they decided to give her a look-see. I guess it's a win-win for the customs fellas. If she was smuggling something illegal up under her shirt, cool. They can arrest her and get their names in the paper. If she's not, and it's just what God gave her, at least they got a good look at those warlocks. Like a lot of chicks, in the end, she was shady. The gal was attempting to smuggle 350 Nintendo Switch game cartridges in her bra to mainland China. 350 Nintendo Switch game cartridges. How big are those?
Oh, they're small.
Yeah, the size of a quarter.
They're awful small.
It's not like hauling around some old...
Not like the original Nintendo or N64.
They say the value of the smuggled goods was around 9 grand skis. And she's going to be fined. I don't think they're going to beat her up or take her to prison, but she will be fined for this. So there you go. I guess there are people on mainland China waiting to play some of these games. She came in with just the silos rocking, Cubby.
I pictured them like being made there. I don't know. Where are they made? Yeah,
I thought...
You think wouldn't be that difficult to get?
I don't know where they make the Nintendo. Isn't that a Japanese deal?
I'm just thinking about how hot it would be to unhook a woman's bra and have 300 Nintendo Switch cartridges fall out.
Would you dump your fiance?
Yeah.
Oh, gross. Don't you? Stop it.
What?
So, Dana, you've got a birthday coming up this weekend, don't you?
Next weekend.
Oh, next weekend. Okay, I can't be there. Imagine if maybe for your birthday, the fiance did that for you.
Oh, that would be hot stuff.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, I hope she's listening.
She asks you to peek down the front of her drawers, and down there is a Nintendo game Switch.
On the topic of Justin Timberlake, JT, Local 34 Jesus said his license is going bye, bye, bye.
Son of a bitch bastard.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Coach, one time during the season, like a bitch, come up to me. It's like, hey, man, you guys are up 8-0. We're going to need you to take the foot off the gas. Please stop scoring runs. My kids are sad. And then I shook his hand like a man. I was like, absolutely, coach. I went back to my dugout. I was like, hey, guys, the coach and the other team's a little bitch, dude. Whoever hits a double next gets a Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
Yummy.
Who the hell's that coming off with the mouth?
Max, is it Mantikoff?
Yeah. Yep.
Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Talking about Little League Baseball or something like that?
Yeah, being a coach.
Do you guys mind? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, go right ahead.
I was going to ask, do you mind if we go back to the topic of the lady in China who smuggled all those Nintendo cartridges in her bra?
Yes.
We were wondering, why would she need to do that? They're probably made there, those cartridges. And we always say how the 93X brother and sisterhood are the funniest, sexiest, smartest, and sexiest radio listeners of all time.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, it's 100% true. You can't argue it. If someone tries, they're stupid. They're real, real dumb.
And other shows' listeners are stupid.
Well, I don't know if that's the case. They're just nowhere near as good. I mean, we're talking superior people here.
Yes.
So this is from Can Hauling Jesus, and something I didn't consider, with how restrictive China is with everything. It's probably that the games are banned versus difficult to get. Well, that would make them difficult to get, but that's why it's a thing to smuggle something like that in there, right? Because the government says, you can't play that.
Really?
That Link character shows too much under that tunic.
F me running sideways.
I bet you're 100% right.
Can't even play Nintendo if you're living in China. That's very interesting. I don't want to take up too much of your damn time here because we're running a little bit late. It was a shame what happened with the Twins last night. They were tied at 2 in the 10th inning, and then things went sideways. I'll tell you all about it. Randy Shaver's going to jump in. He'll want to say something or another about it. It's pretty rare where I look forward to talking about Bill Belichick. But what we have for you at 7:30 concerning Bill Belichick is a lot of fun. For now, we'll just take a little breather and come back for Cubby's News Report.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Are you ready to beat the heat this summer? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is here to help you say goodbye to sweltering heat and hello to ultimate comfort. Ashley, what specials do they have going on this month?
It is fun, sun, and savings time at Standard Heating and Air with incredible savings on AC units, heat pumps, and combo deals this month to ensure your air quality is up to snuff this summer. Go to standardheating.com for more info or to schedule your appointment today.
For the real story behind some of wrestling's biggest moments, it's Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson, too.
It feels like April is release month. When you get through with that set of stories and it's time to set a new course for the next WrestleMania, and that makes sense if you're going to do what Jim Ross would call a roster purge.
Taking a look at your corporation a couple times a year and realizing that some strength over here or you need to eliminate some. That's all it was.
Something to Wrestle, wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
We don't know whether at noon when the bank employees left, if they accidentally left it unlocked. We don't know if a cleaning crew came after the fact and left it unlocked. We don't know.
Well, what the hell do you know? I'm sorry.
What good are you if you don't know jack squash?
I didn't mean that. My dog walked in some paint and then on the carpet yesterday, and then he got diarrhea on a different carpet. So,
oh man,
I had a day.
Whose diarrhea was he walking on?
His own. So
Oh.
he walked in paint, and then he tracked that across. So we have new carpet in 2 rooms. I'll get to the story here. 2 rooms in our house, right? That's it. That's the only carpet we replaced. And he walked through wet paint in one of them, the one we got last month.
Oh.
And then he diarrheaed the other.
Oh, man.
I had to ask him, are you mad at me? I mean, what's going on here, pal?
Why is it always new carpet, too? It's like there's a perfectly good, like, wood floor right there.
Oh, and the rest of our carpet's complete garbage. Anyways.
Yeah.
I always get a new dog right before I get new carpet.
That's smart. Yeah, because this is a really old dog.
Because the old one's bound to screw it up. You know?
He can't help it, and he was embarrassed. He felt
Of course, that's the worst because they feel so bad. They don't know what's happening.
They don't feel. What dogs are you guys hanging out with? Every time a dog ever diarrheaed on my carpet, it looked like it was having the time of his life.
I don't know.
I feel so much better.
Yeah, they don't care about us as much as you think.
He felt ashamed. A Florida man went to a Wells Fargo. He wanted to take out $80 on Sunday, but he realized he had quite the opportunity. The bank was closed. He was bummed, but somebody left the door unlocked.
Nice.
So he thought, I might as well rob the place. 33-year-old Colton Van Honenstein.
Get the hell out of here.
He went to a nearby...
It started out kind of cool, didn't it?
Yeah, I like it, Van Honenstein.
Oh, the Colton sounded kind of... he lost me with the Van... Go ahead.
He went to a nearby gas station and he bought a bandana to hide his identity. Then he went back to the bank and walked right in. He began rummaging through drawers and cabinets, but they were empty. Bummer. So he left. Deputies received a call from the bank's monitoring system of a bank robbery in progress, but when the sheriff's office surrounded the building, no one was inside. Later, the alarm company said they waited an hour to call deputies, and the suspect was long gone. But with the help of security footage, Van Honenstein was found later and arrested. Officers said the bird-brained bank heist backfired because he ultimately lost money in the bumbled burglary. A police spokesperson said he was charged with burglary despite the fact the only thing he walked with was a bandana that set him back $5. Police are investigating why the bank's doors were left unlocked and why the alarm monitoring company was delayed in their response.
So this dude just couldn't help himself.
Sounds that way. Yeah. So right now they think it was just a crime of opportunity, but they are investigating whether or not he had, there was an inside job.
Friggin' inside jobs.
The suspects who tried to steal lottery tickets from a come-and-go convenience store in Oklahoma before leading cops on a chase around 2 a.m. ended up under arrest after a U-Haul van crashed into a stranger's pool, and the body cam footage that aired on the local news was somehow even more absurd than you might expect. The accused driver, 39-year-old Destiny Livingstone. That sounds like a video game character.
It does, definitely.
And her 31-year-old co-defendant, Casey Haig, engaged in a miles-long pursuit with the U-Haul van they were in before making the ill-fated decision to drive down a dead-end street, smash through a fence, and ultimately plunging the vehicle into a pool. Decidedly not the jackpot the suspects allegedly sought. The homeowner, a grandfather identified only as Roy, said he was minding his own business late at night, watching TV in bed, when he heard police sirens outside, only to soon learn that his pool was wrecked to the point of being unusable.
A U-Haul was in there.
Yeah. Video showed that when cops questioned Livingstone about what she was doing in the pool and whether there was anyone else in the U-Haul, she replied, "I'm telling you, I don't know. I was just out here swimming."
Oh, my God.
An unconvinced officer remarked that, boy, it seems odd you'd be swimming so late at night, all alone and fully clothed.
Right. Was in the car. I'm telling you, I don't know. I was out here swimming. You're the only one back here and you're swimming in clothes?
Yeah, she's swimming in clothes.
What a friggin' jackass.
She tried and failed. Her accomplice tried and failed to hide in the woods.
I was out here swimming.
Just fully clothed, swimming by myself in the middle of the night.
So weak.
Nothing to see.
Oh, there's a van here. When did that happen? How did that cat get in there?
So they tried to lose the cops in a U-Haul.
Yep, and they...
not going to work, I don't know, what would you say, 8 times out of 10?
Yeah, if not more, right?
Does
maybe there's a no chase policy in the city and they figure out we'll get them later, but no, they chased after these folks. They went right into a pool.
Oh, who made the Yugo? Do you guys remember the Yugo?
Wasn't it Yugo?
No.
Oh, okay, let's just go with it.
I don't know what the parent company was.
Yeah, let's go with it. A buddy of mine who ended up being a thief, he grabbed a lady's purse in a parking lot, and then he tried to elude the cops in his Yugo.
I have a friend, one of my best friends.
It didn't work.
His, that wasn't necessarily the fastest car out there.
They caught up with his Yugo pretty easily.
They had a Yugo, which after a few years was more Bondo. That thing rusted out immediately. Oh, that thing rusted. It looked kind of cool running around with just Bondo.
We had so much fun back in the day. We were tight bros, and then he turns out to be a purse-snatching derelict.
That's no good.
That sucks.
A 38-year-old man in Connecticut's accused of committing a home invasion where he injected 2 people with what he claimed was a deadly virus and demanded they pay millions for the antidote or be left to die. Stefan Barbaras, a Romanian native, and his accomplice Emmanuel and Alexandro Nicholas were wearing masks when they broke into a home in South Kent, Connecticut. All 3 men were brandishing knives and airsoft guns, which appeared to be real. The men bound and blindfolded 2 adult victims, injected each with a substance the intruders claimed was a deadly virus.
Oh.
They ordered the victims to pay $8.5 million or they'd be left to die from the lethal injection.
These were very, very rich people. They were well aware of the...
Yeah, they did their research.
They just didn't break into any house in Connecticut and say, "Do you have $8.5 million?"
No.
Okay.
It was one that they might have $8.5 million.
I hear there's a lot of money in Connecticut.
Yeah, I think you got to be pretty well off to live in many parts there.
I mean, just look at the Mean Street Posse. Those guys were loaded.
They were from Greenwich. That's right. They had all kinds of money.
Even the headquarters is out there. WWE headquarters. Stamford,
Connecticut?
Mm-hmm.
When it became clear the victims were not in position to meet the intruders' demands, the men drugged the 2 residents with a sleeping aid and fled in the homeowner's vehicle. The family was wealthy, but not quite that wealthy.
At least they didn't kill anybody.
Yeah, luckily it was nothing.
Bastards.
Residents of an Indian village recently called police about a floating human body in their pond, but luckily it wasn't a corpse, and surprisingly it wasn't a hastily discarded sex doll. Instead, it turned out to be a man taking a nap and cooling off on a hot summer day after getting wasted. Usually these stories end with a discarded sex doll.
The guy got wasted.
He got real wasted.
Yeah?
To their credit, they didn't immediately panic and call police when they noticed a motionless human body in their pond. They tried calling out to the person when they first spotted the possible corpse around 7 a.m., but they got no answer.
Yeah.
And seeing as the body didn't move until noon, they finally decided to call authorities. A police unit and emergency services, they rushed to the scene where they indeed discovered a human body floating in the water. Only what looked like a corpse turned out to be an inebriated man napping after a grueling 10-hour work stint at a local quarry.
He was able just to crash out on a raft or something like that?
Yeah, I guess so.
Cool. That sounds like a nice way to nap.
He told police he indulged a bit too much after a difficult work day. A similar video went viral a couple of years ago when a Bangkok man floating in a water canal was mistaken for a dead body. He only showed signs of life when someone jumped in the water and tried to grab his arm.
I know an older fella, when his grandkids were young, they'd get dropped off at his place after school. And he liked to go out, when he was waiting there on his front porch. He would wait on his front porch for his grandkids to get dropped off by the school bus. And he would often fall asleep in his chair waiting for the school bus to arrive. And he's just, in general, just a disheveled-looking sumbitch. You know what I mean? He always looks like he just rolled out from under a bus or something. His grandkids were well aware of this habit where he'd fall asleep on the porch waiting for them. But his grandkids' classmates weren't aware. And one morning or afternoon, they pulled the school bus up, and there's Grandpa asleep on the porch. And one of the kids on the bus said to his grandkids, "I think your grandpa's dead."
Oh, boy.
And they said, "No, he's just asleep."
Oh, good. They didn't freak out at first?
No, because they knew that he often, he would crash out there. And
we've heard this millions of times. He's doing fine.
I think your grandpa's dead.
A Texas, I should warn you, this is a bit disturbing.
This one?
Yeah, but it's insane. Disturbing and insane. A Texas man with 2 previous DWI convictions fatally struck a pedestrian, and the cops were onto him when they found an entire arm in his vehicle.
With a traumatic incident like this, people are going to have different accounts of what happened. This is why it's an ongoing investigation. We're trying to piece that together.
So there was a...
Piece that together. Come on, man.
The victim had an arm off.
Yeah.
And it
didn't start that way. Like his arm was attached.
Right, right. It ended up in the car?
It did, yes.
In the car. Maybe gathering up some evidence?
Possibly. 31-year-old Juan Munoz was drunk when he hit a pedestrian early Saturday morning in Dallas.
Jesus.
He called 911 a half hour after the incident and said he continued to drive to his employer. When he was stopped in the auto shop parking lot, officers noticed the vehicle had a hole in the front passenger windshield, and they found an entire arm on the passenger seat. He told authorities he left a Hooters and was headed to work, but his manager told authorities he wasn't scheduled to work that night, and he was lying. He recorded a .179 during a breathalyzer test and told detention officers he also had cocaine in his system.
And he killed some poor bastard?
It sounds that way.
Son of a bitch.
He's already on probation for a previous DWI.
So long, dude. That's it for you.
Oh, man. That's
nice
gross.
work.
City officials just west of the Twin Cities say the recent loss of water pressure in the city was caused by vandals who pried open 5 fire hydrants and released more than 1 million gallons of water.
I just noticed when I got up in the middle of the night, the water pressure was very low, and I thought something was wrong with our pipes. I didn't realize it was the whole neighborhood.
It was. The fire department said in a social media post, the not-so-funny pranksters struck hydrants in Cokato late Saturday into early Sunday.
And that can also cause problems downstream with pressure changes that can cause line breaks.
It's just very concerning that there was a lot of water that was wasted, and also having to send manpower out to shut these hydrants off.
Manpower.
This is no joke, the posting read. This is a serious matter, and if juveniles are involved, they need to be held responsible. The post went on to say that depleting the water supply can pose a major public safety threat should there be a fire.
When we do respond to fires, we depend on those working hydrants.
Investigators believe multiple juveniles are responsible. The fire department said not only will the young perpetrators be held accountable, but so could their parents for any damage the water may have caused to roads or property.
Oh, no way. Why are we going after mom and dad?
A police spokesperson said, when we were kids, we did a lot of stupid stuff, but I don't think we would have thought to do something this stupid.
Someone's going to juvie hall.
They're going to be in some trouble.
I guess we always are asking, aren't we, Josh? We're begging the young kids to put down the video games, go outside and do something.
Maybe you got
what happens.
Within some parameters.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe we got to lay down a few ground rules.
Why do mom and dad got to each over this?
That sucks.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I had a buddy that had kind of a similar situation. Yeah.
And his folks got punished?
No. He's the folk. Right? His kid basically burned down a good chunk of property, and he had to foot some of that bill.
They don't let you do that these days?
No, you're not supposed to do it.
Okay.
And they had, one of those planes or helicopters that scoop up the water from a nearby lake or whatever.
Sure.
And
I know a scuba diver who got scooped up in the middle of that and
I've
dropped
heard
on
of
it.
that.
Yeah.
I've heard it.
Forest fire?
Yeah.
It was terrible.
And he had to pay for that.
He did.
Wasn't cheap.
Sucks.
The world's largest pilot union suggested airline employees stop using the term cockpit, amongst other terms.
No.
Airline Pilots Association International, which represents over 70,000 pilots worldwide, suggested replacing the word cockpit with flight deck. While some call the term for where the pilot controls the aircraft outdated and offensive.
Offensive.
Wall Street Journal columnist and linguist Ben Zimmer wrote cockpit originated from cockfighting in the 16th century England. The circular pit was surrounded by a barrier to keep the gamecocks from escaping, he wrote. The term evolved to describe a boisterous or tense atmosphere.
So what are we going with now?
Flight deck.
Flight deck.
They would prefer you refer to it as a flight deck instead of a cockpit. I had mentioned before that at St. Cloud State, a girlfriend of mine was in a sorority, and they called their sorority house the cockpit.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Word up.
I thought that was pretty good. The fourth season of comedian Kevin Hart's interview show Heart to Heart premieres on Peacock today. Streaming now on Netflix, the series premiere of America's Sweethearts, Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. It was on this day in 1975 the movie Jaws opened in theaters. And 23 years ago, 2001, South Park featured the S word 162 times in 30 minutes during its season 5 premiere. Lionel Richie, 75 today.
I love you, Lionel Richie.
Me too.
You're one of the greatest talents that the world has ever seen.
I agree. John Goodman, 72. Van Halen and Sammy Hagar bassist Michael Anthony is 70, believe it or not. And the beloved Home Improvement TV host Bob Vila, 78. Jump Shooting Jesus, he's checking in from Omaha Beach, Normandy, France this morning, streaming live.
Sweet.
A text from Cut My Heart Out Jesus said, "Good morning, effers. Listening from sunny Puerto Rico. Let's do this." And Ashley, he wants you to know he doesn't need a traffic report today.
Sounds good.
Not going to affect him whatsoever. Happy birthday to Beach Financial Jesus from Killer Jesus. And happy birthday to Amy from your desk neighbor, Susie. And that's 93X News.
Care 11's Randy Shaver.
The Northwoods Baseball Radio Network presents Sleep Baseball tonight. From Foghorn Field in Cadillac, Michigan, it's the Cadillac Cars hosting the Eagles of Manistee, Michigan. Good evening, friends. Manny the Eagle, the Manistee mascot, is currently entertaining the fans with his usual antics. And it is a perfect night for a ball game.
Here he is back in town, covered in bug bites from his trip to the Iron Range. Randy Shaver. How was the trip home, Randy Shaver?
Oh, no.
It was about time.
About time to come home?
Yes, sir.
All right, good.
Well, I mean, we ran out of water. How ironic is that?
Did you
somebody texted in and said, well, you are in the irony range. That's where you were.
Exactly. No, we the facility we were staying, the cabins, the water, they broke a water main. And so there was no water yesterday.
That sucks.
So you have all of this rain for 3 days to the point where you step outside and the bugs are just waiting for you.
All that.
And then you wake up yesterday morning and there's no water. And when you've got 2 little kids and, 4 adults and you don't have a toilet that works, that's pretty much it.
God help us.
Yeah.
So in the end, it kind of turned out to be a bit of a disaster on your way out.
Unfortunately so.
Yeah.
I'll give my son and his wife and family credit. They said, you know what, we're not going to let this ruin everything. They went to Duluth. They found a nice hotel, a place with a swimming pool, and took the kids. And it was a beautiful day yesterday.
Did you have to go deuce in the woods?
No. We found a place that was working.
When's the last time a big shot like you had to use an outhouse? Can you even think of the
Yes,
last?
my grandparents had an outhouse when I was a kid.
They had a toilet inside?
No. It was outside.
They had no indoor plumbing?
That is correct.
Okay.
Wow. My grandparents had a cabin that when I was like probably, 4 or 5, they had no indoor plumbing.
That's a long time ago.
Yes, sir.
We're
talking 1963, 64.
Yeah, they lived out in the woods?
Well, they
had a cabin in the woods.
They lived in Richmond, Iowa, which is just outside of Kelowna, Iowa. And so the area was pretty rustic.
Mhm.
And there were houses there that had indoor plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
Theirs just happened to not have it. So.
Oh, yeah. Those were, that was very, very common back in those days. When my dad was alive, he could tell you some stories about, that was the norm.
That was the norm
back in those days. You had a damn outhouse. Everybody bathed in the same bucket at night. I got used to that. A buddy of mine had a cabin way up in the Ely area. We would go there in the winter, and we would use only the outhouse, and we would always make bets on who's going to break frost the next morning. On any given, who's going to be the first guy out there when it's 27 below zero? Who's going to break frost?
And just for the record, an outhouse is built the same as what you see now, these portable toilets, but they're not the same.
No.
They are not even close to the same thing.
You ever have anything kind of climb up the bottom of that?
No, but I'll tell you what, if you ever had sinus issues where you were plugged up, you couldn't breathe, and you walked into that outhouse and closed the door, trust me, your sinuses opened up in a hurry.
Clear them right out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, also on fishing trips. On fishing trips, the lake that I fished on with my old man for years and years and years, a huge body of water. There was one island on the lake. My dad knew the guy who lived on that island, and that was the only outhouse available for miles and miles and miles. I mean, of course, if you got to take a squeege, you hang it over the side of the boat. But every once in a while, me or the old man would have an emergency where, we got to. So, on days where maybe we drank too much the night before, we'd kind of stay near that island, you know what I mean?
Just to be safe.
And we would, come ashore and use the outhouse there. That was a nerve-wracking experience because the dude who lived there wasn't always there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you never knew what kind of wildlife might have been making a home in that outhouse.
Oh, yeah.
I'd get a flashlight, make sure. Sometimes there'd be big spiders. I didn't like
big
that.
Spiders. I can remember in the summertime.
Spiders.
My grandfather had a problem with wasps because the top of the outhouse would have holes in it, and those wasps would come inside the hole and build their nests inside just inside the door of the outhouse. So, I mean, you were always looking around when you got in there. You had to be aware of your surroundings when you walked into that outhouse, and because you never, like Nick said, you never knew what kind of creature might be inside there.
Yeah.
So.
The spiders, I was just going to ask you, it seems like anytime I've ever used a real outhouse, the first thing you do is you walk through a spider web that's as overbearing as one of those doorway bead curtains in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Trying to get your way through.
Yeah. There'd be some iffy moments out there.
My friend's grandparents had a cabin, and all they had was the outhouse, same thing, but they made it a little bigger, so they used that as a storage shed for all their shovels and rakes and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's how our forefathers and mothers did it. All right, so here we go, Randy Shaver. Nice to have you back in town. Retirement is fast approaching.
It is, sir.
Oh, a week from this Friday, right? And that's it.
A week from tomorrow.
Now, folks should know that even when you're done with your television career, you are going to remain a member of this program and come on every day like you've been doing for 20-some-odd years. But, okay, so you took this trip up north. Despite the disastrous ending to the trip, after you're done, after this nightmare is over, let's say we go another who knows how many years, I hope not many, and we all can walk away from this. Well, Josh and I and Randy, the rest of you are young enough to where you're probably going to have to gut it out for a few more years, you poor bastards. But when this nightmare is over, Randy Shaver, could you see yourself being like an up north Iron Range guy?
No. No.
City guy?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a hotel guy. That kind of, that's fun. If the weather had been better, it would have been great. But the weather was just not very much fun. And not just for the adults, but for my granddaughter too. I mean, the swimming was, you're batting off mosquitoes, and it just wasn't a lot of fun.
I hear you.
And so had the weather been nicer, I think it would have been pretty pleasant, but it just wasn't that.
Does anybody see themselves, if finances and circumstances align themselves, does anyone see themselves when you're all said and done moving out into the middle of nowhere?
I would love it.
100%, yeah.
Absolutely. It'll never happen. My wife.
Why do that, Josh?
Because I grew up in Minneapolis. I've always lived in a city, and anytime I go do something like that, I love it. Now, the first time I want to get Chipotle within 5 minutes,
right?
Then I might regret it. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, I'd love to own a hobby farm. Now, I wouldn't know how to farm, but get somebody in there that wants to do it. I would absolutely love that. But my wife is the opposite.
That's the one thing I really miss about living in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin, in a small town. It's nice. It's quiet. I miss it so much.
I love the charm of a small town.
Hang on a second. We're not talking about living in a small town. We're talking about middle of nowhere.
I'd love that. Would be awesome.
Yeah.
If you could afford, like you said, money's no object. You own 100 acres. You just see nothing around you but just the outdoors.
I'm with Randy Shaver. I'm with Randy Shaver. I couldn't do it. I certainly have enjoyed many weekends and this and that throughout my entire life, going to the middle of nowhere and fishing and this and that. I've always enjoyed it, but I've always been the first guy to say on those trips, do you guys want to go into town, hit a sports bar or something? I need a little more civilization, sports bars, hotels. There's got to at least be a town with something happening, or else I'm not. I just too much. Middle of nowhere's no for me.
Even if you do a long trip and it's a week, after a while you're like, boy, I kind of want to get back home and get to doing stuff again.
Yeah, I don't like doing stuff. I love being home, so I think it'd be perfect for me.
There's got to be a sports bar. There's got to be a strip joint. There's got to be a fast food joint. You know what? Put me in the middle of nowhere, I wouldn't last too long. Sure, small town, yeah.
You were talking off air not too long ago, but you'd love to live in a small town.
Yeah.
A small town, definitely a small town, but if I could get in the middle of nowhere, that'd be great.
Okay. I wouldn't make it. But there you go. Oh, by the way, in our intro there, maybe you can play a little more of this if you like.
Yeah, I've got some more to play.
Since enough time has gone by now. What you heard there was something called Northwoods Baseball Sleep Radio.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I do too.
It's a really long story. I'll try not to keep you too long, but it's a podcast that features These aren't real recordings of past baseball.
No, it's fake minor league ball games.
Right.
It's supposed to help you sleep.
It's recordings of play-by-play radio, and these two guys put it together, like Josh said, fake minor league baseball broadcasts, and it's intended to put you to sleep. They go real slow. There's not a lot of bells and whistles. This is made as a sleep aid, and I guess people are dialing into it.
Yeah, it's got a Minnesota connection.
Couple Minnesota guys.
Yeah, so that's part of the Northwoods Baseball Sleep Radio, but it's awesome. I was listening to a bunch of this, and I could definitely see falling asleep to something. It's like some people are into ASMR and things like that to help them sleep. This is kind of like that, but I think much, much better.
So again,
up in the pitcher's spot for the Tigers, facing Blinky Malone. Nomo grounded out in the third. And the pitch from Malone. Fastball runs outside for ball one.
I love listening to baseball on the radio.
That sounds like Brad Ryder.
You know, a couple of people text in and said, when did Brad join the show on Thursday?
I mean, they're really, really slow there.
Yeah.
They're kind of overdoing it, if you ask me. But anyway, I guess that's the point. To put you to sleep, it's fake teams, fake player names. You heard the name there. What was it? Blinky something or another. Blinky Malone.
He's having a good year, by the way.
Yeah, great year.
Yeah, it's a career year.
So they've produced about 25 of these fake minor league baseball games. You can find them. I don't know. Where would a grown person find these, Josh? I don't know.
Whatever podcast app you use.
Podcast apps. Yeah, they have fake players like Bugs Yamaguchi, Flipper Cortez, Blinky Malone. So I guess if you're someone who has trouble sleeping and this is your vibe, check it out somewheres. The Northwoods Baseball Sleep Radio. Would you?
Wouldn't do it for me.
Oh no. I don't know. I think I would get annoyed by this.
Really?
Yeah.
What would be annoying? Just too slow?
Yeah, too slow.
I mean, that's obviously what it's designed to be, but you wouldn't dig it, huh?
No. I like absolute silence and complete darkness when it comes time to go to sleep. I don't understand the television on or fingering your phone until you fall asleep. My friggin' wife is the exact opposite. She falls asleep playing with her cellular telephone. I don't get that.
Really? That's impressive.
I'm like a body in a casket, so.
Yeah, I need something. Something needs to be going on.
Mm-hmm.
Or else I just think about everything that's in my head too much.
Right.
So I had mentioned, there's a lot of people, it seems lately that seems like that ASMR thing is so big and people are watching videos or listening to it to fall asleep. Local 34 Jesus said quite similarly, he likes to fall asleep to BDSM. That's what he said.
A little bit different.
That would spark some nightmares, I imagine.
Oh, and the Dom would be furious if you fell asleep during that.
There you go. It was a damn shame what happened with the Twins last night. Twins and Rays were tied at 2 in the 10th inning. Rays at the plate, 2 out. A routine grounder to third. Should have ended that half inning, but Royce Lewis gong showed his throw to first base. That scored a run for Tampa Bay, and the Twins lose 3-2. So the 6-game win streak has come to a halt right then and there. Lewis had a great night at the plate.
Yeah. Joe Ryan deserved a better fate, but yeah.
That throw to first, I'm sure that ruined Lewis's night. That was terribly unfortunate. And you're right, Joe Ryan had a strong start. The Twins' bullpen was kind of shaky. Not that they gave up a lot of runs. Obviously, it was a 3-2 ball game, but a lot of walks, and they seemed to be. They seemed to be a little off last night.
Yeah, tough loss. I mean, Tampa's really trying to find themselves here. This is a ball club that, for the most part, has been super consistent over the last few years, and they just cannot seem to get over the 500 mark in a division where if you don't start turning it on, you have no chance of making the postseason. So, it's a big win for them just because they are trying to figure out a way. We're almost 80 games into the season, and they're still trying to find a winning formula consistently. I mean, that's really what baseball is all about. It's about stringing wins together. It's about getting hot and stringing wins so that in a 2-week time you can make up a lot of ground, or you end up losing a lot of ground if you are struggling. So
tough to make up a lot of ground in the American League East, as Dick Bramer was telling us a couple days ago. I mean, the Yankees and who's right behind them? Baltimore. Such terrific ball clubs. So, yeah, I mean, Tampa Bay would have to go on an absolute insane tear.
But it starts with one, and maybe last night's win for them is one that kind of gets them going. And for the Twins, it's unfortunate. They've been playing really, really well, but they lose on a night where Cleveland wins. And so, they're back to 5.5 games back, and there's a lot of time left. There's little over half the season left, so plenty of time. But as we all remember, you get to the end of September and you go, God, we're down by a game. you think about games that they could have had, that should have had, and, it ends up biting them, and hopefully this won't be one of them. So.
They wrap it up. The two clubs play out the final today at Target Field. The Twins are going to go with Simeon Woods Richardson and the Rays' Zach Littell. We've been talking about small-town living or living in the middle of absolute nowheres, and who of us would enjoy it and who of us would not. March Madness Jesus texted in to say, I live about 45 minutes outside the cities, close enough to go to the metro whenever we want, but far enough out where we don't feel like we are in the cities. That sounds perfect. Where are you? Is it Maple Lake? You can see me and Randy Shaver. If it's Maple Lake, Randy Shaver and I will be there Saturday.
That's right.
Randy's throwing out the first pitch of a town ball game at noon. I'm throwing out the first pitch at 2:30. Maple Lake.
The teams that day, Loretto Larks versus the Avon Lakers at noon.
Okay.
The Howard Lake Orphans against the Kimball Express at 2:30.
I got to get a ball cap if the Orphans are selling.
And the Maple Lake Lakers play Waconia Lakers at 5 o'clock that day. So
Okay.
It's 3 games. It's knocking out cancer, money raised for this event, thanks to Ryan Grams and all his hard work. Money raised will go to the Randy Shaver Cancer Research and Community Fund. Last year, they raised over $14,000
Dude.
in
Awesome.
one day. Yeah,
That's
so,
outstanding. The people of Maple
Ryan's
Lake.
done a great job.
Ryan is a great guy. The people of Maple Lake, as you all know, owe me an apology. But I am looking forward to come on out, raise some money. Randy Shaver. Randy will have his noodle arm delivery on display at noon.
I'm going to throw my knuckler. I'm going to throw my Joe Negro knuckler.
Have you practiced at all, or are you just not too worried about
Who, me?
it? Yeah,
Saturday? No, you don't practice when you throw a knuckler, Josh. You just throw a knuckler.
It's just instinct.
I've always wanted to see somebody when they're throwing the first pitch just like actually really try to just
gun one.
Yeah, just
Well, that's what I
smoke
did,
it.
and I airmailed it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, but I tried to throw it fast and over the plate.
You wanted
and
to put some heat on.
Yeah, I tried, and it
Nick,
just
you
Just
should
throw a
wear
nasty curve.
took off on me.
that'd be awesome.
You should wear a T-shirt, Nick, that says "Maple Lake, you owe me an apology."
I would like to get that made up
Or just
by.
like I was saying, you got to get a T-shirt that honors the chalk outline they still have in the middle of Main Street.
That was a great line the other day when you mentioned the chalk outline.
You know, a very good buddy of ours, big bearded Jared, he lives up that way, and he's going to come out and see you guys.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'll be happy to see him again. It's been a while, I
Yeah.
think. It's been a while.
Lakers Stadium in Maple Lake.
Yeah, that's where we're headed. The Howard Lake Orphans.
Yeah.
Wapo might be the only one who gets this reference. They don't dress up like the orphans from, okay, forget it. The movie The Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the baseball team that they fought? The gang fought? Okay, they weren't. The orphans were like greasy-looking dudes with dirty shirts and blue jeans.
Yep.
What was the baseball team called that they fought in the streets where they called the look that up. Look that up. The Warrior. Randy Shaver, you know the Warriors?
I don't.
Baseball Furies.
The Baseball Furies.
Yeah, dude. Those guys were so scary, too.
They were scary.
They were sitting in the bullpen, and then they all had their bats, and then they just come out. Oh, that's such a good movie.
I don't have any beer bottles, but I'll use my bell. I'll use my bell real quick. Warriors, come out and play. Warriors, come out and play. And then Twisted Sister, of course, mimicked that with their 1985 record, Come Out and Play. You guys know that already. Interesting question from yardbarker.com, Ski Randy Shaver. With Willie Mays gone, who is the greatest living player?
Luis Aparicio is the oldest living Hall of Famer right now.
Luis Aparicio.
Yep.
I've heard the name. Okay, so he's the oldest Hall of Famer.
Living Hall of Famer.
Living
right
Hall of
now.
Famer. But is he the greatest living player?
Well, I guess that would be up for debate, right? I don't think there was any debate about Willie Mays being the oldest living greatest player.
Right. Do you want to hear the options from Yardbarker?
Sure. I have my own thought, but go ahead.
Well, I'd love to hear your yes, go ahead.
I would say Johnny Bench.
Really? Well, here's the 5 picks from Yardbarker.
Okay.
They, as you just mentioned, Willie Mays was widely viewed before his death as Major League Baseball's greatest living player. Their 5 picks go like this. Sandy Koufax.
Oh, sure.
one of the greatest pitchers to ever live. I mean, my God, he was untouchable for his brief career. He did not.
That's a little bit different, though, don't you think, than the player? I mean, no offense to pitchers.
You're taking it away from pitchers a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can understand why.
Yeah.
I can understand why. Next on the list, somewhat controversial, Pete Rose.
See, I'd put Johnny Bench ahead of Pete Rose.
Johnny Bench ahead of Pete Rose?
Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame.
Well, yeah, but we all know why he's not in the Hall of Fame.
I understand.
He's in the WWE Hall of Fame.
I mean, come on. Johnny Bench was not a better overall player than Pete Rose.
No.
No. Okay.
No, I agree with that.
Nolan Ryan.
Well, of course, but again, it's a pitcher. So.
I get it. The last two, I was kind of surprised to see this one, even though, I mean, he was an incredible all-around player. All around. Ricky Henderson.
Gosh, I don't put him in the same category.
What? Yeah. Steal bases, play the field, hit for average, hit for power, say weird things out loud. He had everything.
Yeah.
And finally, Barry Bonds.
No, I don't put Barry Bonds there either.
Well, you jerk.
You know what, though? I do agree with you with Pete Rose. I guess I do agree with Pete Rose.
Okay. I'll agree with you that as unbelievable as Nolan Ryan was and Sandy Koufax, I think you got to go with an everyday player if you are going to be referred to as the greatest living player.
And no offense to Sandy Koufax, but I would put Nolan Ryan ahead of Sandy Koufax.
So would I.
I mean, just the amount of no-hitters, one-hitters, two-hitters, three-hitters, complete games, strikeouts. I just think Nolan Ryan is, Sandy Koufax certainly in his era was fantastic. Hall of Fame fantastic. But he didn't pitch all that long, right?
No, he had
Koufax only pitched like 9 years or something like that.
He retired as a 32-year-old or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yes.
Sandy Koufax is 88 years old. Pete Rose is 83. Nolan Ryan, 77. Ricky Henderson is at 65 years old. And Barry Bonds is only 59. And there are a couple of text messages coming in that there's rumors that Barry Bonds might suit up for the Howard Lake Orphans this Saturday in Maple Lake.
That would sell some tickets.
And Luis Aparicio is 90 years old. He is the oldest living Hall of Fame baseball player right now.
Ooh, some people are texting in, what about Reggie Jackson?
He
belongs in the conversation.
Yes, I agree with that. I would say I would still take Pete Rose.
I would too. I think Ricky Henderson.
I love Johnny Bench. I was a big Johnny Bench fan for that position. Fantastic, but yeah.
Barry Bonds and Ricky Henderson, unbelievable. The whole list is great. Is this correct now? I thought I read this in the paper. The Giants and the Cardinals are playing a ball game tonight in Birmingham, Alabama.
They're playing at Rickwood. Yes, they're playing at the field where Willie Mays got his very first ever hit as a professional player. They're playing tonight.
So was this a last-minute thing in honor of...
No, this was all planned.
Oh, wow.
And Mays was supposed to be there.
You're right. I read that, yes.
Yes, Willie Mays was supposed to be there. And about a week ago, they made the decision that he couldn't get there, obviously.
Right.
And so they made alternate plans to honor him, which I think they did last night. I think there was something that happened there last night because I was reading this morning where his agent and the CEO of the San Francisco Giants and some other people talked about Willie. But Willie was supposed to be at this game, this professional baseball game at Rickwood Stadium.
Okay,
tonight.
right. Yep, that's where he played his first Negro League game?
That's correct.
Right, back in God help us, 51 or something like that, 40. So. Okay, cool. I thought it was a last-minute thing. I'd forgotten. I'd forgotten that. I read the article that said Willie was supposed to be there. That's a damn shame. But I bet that'll be a massive crowd and just I bet there'll be good vibes there tonight. Absolutely, good vibes. Here's a question from a listener. Is Willie Mays related to Billy Mays? Does anyone know?
Not a pitcher, but a pitch man.
Yeah. One of the best to ever do it, too.
The never-ending marijuana leg humping continues. The Portland Pickles minor league baseball team has become the first sports team in the United States to legally sell cannabis-based products at their sporting events.
Of course it would be Portland.
Oh, for Christ's sake with the marijuana. Can we please let it go? Anyway, they're going to start selling THC-based seltzer drinks at their ballpark. The drinks contain 2 mgs or something of
milligrams
of hemp. THC got to be 21.
Now, from what I've learned on the show, that's not much, right, Wapple?
No, it's
Like,
not.
That's
Not at all.
Like, so I've never done a marijuana, not even a half a marijuana. What would that get me high?
You
Yes.
probably.
2 milligrams would get me high.
Yeah, you definitely feel it.
Yeah,
One way to
there's-
find out, Josh.
There's some people
I'll pass.
in my life, Josh, where they don't regularly smoke weed, but they love the THC seltzers, and it usually 1 or 2 gets them feeling some type of way.
I would probably need to double it to feel the exact same amount you're feeling. But
really? 4? I
Waffles
thought
bonging a case of them.
I was thinking you would have to have
Yeah,
like
maybe
5
3
times the
times
amount.
5,
Yeah, because I was going to mention, I don't want to name any names, Derek, our boss, but he had said, like the ones that are legal here, what is it, 5, 10 milligrams?
Yeah.
He was saying that's really nothing.
Yep.
For people who use it much.
Oh, yeah, you can get like gummies and stuff that are up to 100 milligrams.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, but that.
Like, would you
Those
eat a
ones are
whole,
fun.
You'd eat a whole one of those?
Oh, yeah.
Wapple, cheers.
Oh,
you got
yeah.
nothing to do for like 3 days? You take one of those?
No, it's just a couple hours, but.
So you're saying
100's a lot.
2 would get me, and you had 100.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Will you call me next time you do that?
I don't
Sure.
think
I kind of want to come see what happens.
Can you operate a phone if you're doing something like that?
Yeah, but don't operate machinery.
Ashley, as you said, like I got a buddy who used to do gummies and smoke a little weed. Now it's just the seltzers. That's it. He even doesn't drink as much beer anymore because he's into those seltzers.
Yeah, somebody that I know just replaced beer and all that like hard alcohol completely with the THC seltzers and says it's a lot more fun and you don't have a hangover.
Yeah, that's what he mentions too. That's crazy.
Dude, this all reminds me. Who just said something about they want to see it if Josh smokes marijuana or whatever?
Or Dana wants to see Wapple with one of those 100 milligram ones.
That reminds me back when I was going to Brown Institute, which I really enjoyed until I got hired here full time and found out it was completely unnecessary.
Yes.
But I really had a good time there.
It was like preschool. You know the preschool stuff that you get?
No.
Like the
Preschool? Like little kids?
like the little kid stuff you play with. That's what Brown College reminded me.
You mean because we sat down and played with fake radio equipment?
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you mean. Anyway, I've mentioned this before. I was just straight up shocked by the great majority of the people in my class at Brown Institute just showed up drunk, showed up high, made zero effort, went home, didn't get their degree. I didn't understand. That cost real money.
Yeah,
real
that's
money.
crazy to me.
I couldn't believe it was what are you doing? Why are you Anyway, there was this one dude in my class who was so friggin' high every day, every minute of every class there at Brown. And we did our little sit-down fake radio show, and we turned the pretend mics off, right? And we had a good time. We were laughing and joking around. And we turned the fake mics off, and the stone kid turns to me and goes, can I, have your number so, I can call you when I'm really high? And I said, no.
I love that you said no.
Pickle Rick, he eats 100 milligram gummies. Wapple. Ghost Bear Jesus said he'll do 600 milligrams a day.
Dude, what is...
Somebody else said
that's
they make
crazy.
800 milligram ones.
I had a 300 milligram piece of cake one time. It was awesome.
All to yourself?
Yep. It tasted like mint.
I'll always walk with Elias Jesus down to 300 milligram cookie he picked up in Michigan and said he melted into the couch.
Yeah, the most I've ever done is probably around 100, maybe 120, and I rethought every decision I ever made.
And you're tiny.
Yeah, I thought, oh, yeah, that probably has something to do with it, too. I guess I never really thought about it like that.
Whatever happened to beer?
That was a train wreck.
Yeah, really.
It's just whatever happened to beer.
Ate so much food that day.
Randy Shaver, have you seen the latest from Bill Belichick?
I did. You talking about the escaping the house with no shirt on?
Yes.
Yes,
You
I
can
did
see this
morning.
Is this old news or something? I just stumbled.
It's relatively, but there's it's become viral again.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So you can see this on 93x.com.
I was totally unaware of this until last night. And if you're unaware, this is so effing funny. So Bill Belichick, there's video footage going around the godless internet of Bill Belichick doing the walk of shame, apparently out the front door of his 24-year-old girlfriend's place, and he's got no damn shirt on. He's a 72-year-old man stepping out the door. Was this her folks' place?
That'd be even funnier if it was.
It's got to be her house or a friend's or something, because it's a Ring camera.
Why would he have to sneak out if it was her house? You see, because he looks like he's sneaking around and doesn't exactly know where he is, and it's early in the morning. Doesn't that tell you that maybe he's sneaking out before her folks know that a 72-year-old man is in their daughter's bedroom?
He looks like in the movies, where a dude slips out of a bedroom window when the husband comes home.
Yes.
He kind of has that look to him.
This doesn't look like This doesn't look like, hey, I'm leaving my girlfriend's house. He's got no shirt on.
Yeah, they just called it her residence, but you're right. She was 24, so maybe she was living at home.
This is an escape, is what it is.
It sure looks that way.
That's what it looks like to me. So,
because I think it was late last year the video first came out, but now with all the jokes about his 24-year-old girlfriend, people are recirculating the video.
This is friggin' embarrassing, but hilarious.
It sucks. I guess I don't know how to explain it because when I heard that they were dating, in my head, I'm like, well, okay, maybe they don't do anything, hoping that
they're just companions.
Yeah,
come on.
They don't get dirty. But
that's not happening.
Now that I
Life
see him
partners.
shirtless, I'm like, oh, you do help him take his shirt off.
Oh, they do gross stuff, Ashley.
Now, so after maybe 10 years of marriage, there's the companionship and the physical stuff goes away.
Right.
But they're dating.
Randy Shaver, your sons aren't that old. Let's say when one of your sons was living with you when they were 23, 24.
Yeah.
If they were bringing a 72-year-old woman over there to spend the night,
God.
would you hope that she would sneak out so you didn't see her?
Oh, I would hope that she would sneak in so I wouldn't see her. Just stay in the garage.
Do it in the garage. Do it on the hood of the car.
Yeah.
Don't bring it into the house.
Why is there a mattress and some classical music playing?
When you put it that way, yeah, that's...
This is so beautiful. I mean, because he looks like a 19-year-old kid sneaking out to get home before his parents wake up, kind of a thing. He left his shirt in there. He looks so pathetic. It's just a riot. So if you don't know, look it up. You said it's on our website?
Yes.
That's so much fun. Everyone's done the walk of shame. Just not many of us have been 70 effing years old.
Yeah.
And shirtless.
Good God. Ashley thought, maybe they don't do anything.
I was trying to, not get so disgusted.
That reminds me of a gal that I used to hang with. Oh, God, she was so naive. It was a beautiful thing. She was like 20, 21 at the time, and we used to work together. And she says to me, because, she knew I was a big Twins fan. And she says, hey, do you know this Twins player, blankety blank? And I said, well, sure. And she said, oh, God, he is such... I've gotten a chance to meet him a couple times out at bars, and he is just such a wonderful guy, sweetest guy. He's got this beautiful wife and a couple young kids at home. We've become so close. And I said, so there's nothing else going on? I had to ask. She's this gorgeous 21-year-old, right? And he's a pro athlete, right? And she goes, oh, no. There's none of that going on. And she says, as a matter of fact, so the Twins go to Toronto next weekend for a series against the Blue Jays. He's invited me to come up there and, he'd get me a hotel room, on the same level as the players. And,
what a generous fella.
Yeah, nice guy.
And I said, whoa, hang on. And you really don't think there's any... And she's like, so anyway, we had this conversation 3-4 times. She swore up and down, oh, no, he loves his wife and kids. She comes back to we work together, like I said. We meet at work a week later, and she says, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Oh, girl.
We had that moment with Ashley where she thought she had a platonic friend and would describe all the nice things he did for her. And we had to say, no, he is trying to date you.
I don't recall that.
That's happened to me multiple times.
Yeah.
I'm very oblivious.
There was one time you argued it to the death and then came back and said, all right, you guys were onto something.
I've been told multiple times that I can't see that's what's right in front of me, and that maybe I just look for the best in people, so I don't assume that they have ill intentions.
Well, we just heard that when you talk about this Bill Belichick thing. You hope they were companions.
Yeah.
But Jeffrey texted in and said, wait, a 72-year-old, he's dating a beautiful 24-year-old. Is it really a walk of shame?
That's a good point. Yeah.
He's wondering why. Where's the shame?
Yeah, there are times where there's definitely shame involved.
He schedules a parade to come by. He's just the grand.
He put the ring video out himself.
Yeah, he's the grand marshal.
And, there's a couple people in our listening audience who aren't understanding where we're going with this Bill Belichick thing. We got some texts yesterday saying, if you're telling me if you were 72, you wouldn't date a 24-year-old. I'm not saying that. But whether I do it or Bill Belichick does it, it's still kind of gross. That's our point.
Yeah.
Here's a guy that says Christy Brinkley is 70 years old. Tell me you wouldn't? Of course I would. But if I was 24, that would be kind of gross. That's our point.
Yes.
People think that we're having... No, of course I would. Yes, I would. My motto is I would. But I would think it was totally fair if you called me gross.
Retired Air Force Jesus said there's no denying that Bill Belichick's girlfriend is absolutely playing with deflated balls.
Oh, you bastard.
Yuck, yuck.
Oh, I bet they're so saggy.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Stop it.
They're down to his knees.
It happens, Ashley.
Stop it.
Yeah, he's walking through her parents' place, sneaking around at night. What, someone leave a beanbag on the floor? Oh, no, that's mine.
Someday you might not be immune to gravity either, Ashley.
I hope that day doesn't come.
Someone leave an old satchel on the ground here? Oh, no, that's my nuts.
Whose leather coin purse is that?
I'd love to see the snow tracks you make if you were to go outside naked.
Oh,
reach
God.
a certain age. What the heck is that in the middle there?
Someone was dragging a softball between their feet. Randy Shaver.
Oh, what a visual.
Enjoy breakfast, man.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to go to Alberta for Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final tomorrow night, of course, no big story and no big surprise. The ticket prices are ridiculous. Summer's between $2,000 and $8,000.
My goodness.
Whoa.
For Game 6 of the Stanley Cup. In 1909, and I know what you're saying. Here he goes again with 1991. In 1991, we went to every Stanley Cup playoff game the North Stars played that season. We never paid more than $25. And we were able to drink underage. And we were able to vandalize the arena without any repercussions whatsoever.
Those were the days.
Those were the days.
See, up in Canada, in the third week of June, this is like normal life, right? So it feels normal to be playing a big hockey game up there.
I suppose.
If you're in Florida, if it comes back to Florida for Game 7, which would be what, this weekend? Probably Sunday?
It would be Monday, from what I understand.
Monday. It's going to be like 100 degrees in Florida.
They've ruined it, Randy. They've ruined it. Oh, I don't know where else we have the time to go here. What else?
We got a big guest coming.
Oh, yeah, we do. We do. I forgot. We have a big guest. Maybe we should just pull the plug on this sumbitch.
Ashley?
Yes?
I'm bringing your, what you bid on for my event.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bringing it into the office today.
Oh, are you really?
I'm meeting with Mike at 9:30, and I'm bringing your prize in that you had bid on.
Do you mind sharing what it is? I'd love to know.
I'm not sure. It's in a bag.
It's just like a little quarter zip. It's a Minnesota Gopher quarter zip. But
somebody will have to tell me where to leave it for you.
That's awesome. Thank you. I was wondering if I was going to see you at any time to retrieve that. I thought, oh, all right, well, maybe I'll get it next year. I don't see Randy Shaver that much.
You're bringing it by this building, Randy?
I am. I'm coming in.
We
there
can't
this
get you to
morning.
come and broadcast live, but you're dropping off Ashley's.
I'm broadcasting live. What are you talking about?
From the
I'm
studio.
live. I'm not dead.
Is this a Bill Belichick thing you got going with Ashley here?
He's a married man.
What do you mean, ew?
She's not that old.
All right, Randy
I bet
Shaver.
this is a high-powered negotiation. Do you need us to help? Or actually, you know what? Will you help us?
No, I'm just meeting with Mike. I'm just doing some technical stuff.
Oh, you'll have fun. Yeah, that's our engineer, Oberg. Yeah, he's a funny guy.
He's a good time.
It's very nice of you to bring that by.
Be nervous. I'm always a little nervous around him because you don't know what's going to happen.
Nope. And Randy's meeting with our engineer, and that guy is mental. So good luck with that.
In a good way.
Yeah, good luck with that. In a bad way. Thanks, Randy. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
See ya.
Coming up next, hardcore legend Mick Foley. Foley. Well, what I had after that was Mick Foley joins the. You see how that worked?
Yep. Yep.
Mick Foley joins the program over the telephone. Dude Love is next.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Are you ready to beat the heat this summer? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is here to help you say goodbye to sweltering heat and hello to ultimate comfort. Ashley, what specials do they have going on this month?
It is fun, sun, and savings time at Standard Heating and Air with incredible savings on AC units, heat pumps, and combo deals this month to ensure your air quality is up to snuff this summer. Go to standardheating.com for more info or to schedule your appointment today.
Hey guys, welcome to the Candy Valentino Show. I'm Candy Valentino. I was a founder before I could legally order a drink, and for more than 2.5 decades, I've built, scaled, acquired, and exited multiple businesses in diverse industries. Now my goal is to help you by sharing the knowledge that I've learned, the mistakes that I've made, and the wisdom that I've developed over my journey. Bi-weekly episodes every Monday and Thursday.
The Candy Valentino Show, wherever you listen.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Second pedigree. Oh! Good God! Good God! That's it, he's dead. Well, somebody stop the damn match! Enough's enough!
Mankind in the crowd trying to get away from the Brahma Bull.
Is this dangerous? Is this bad?
A right hand! Oh my God! Oh my God! Mick Foley! We've lost the lights in the arena! Mick Foley went through the electrical circuit board!
Oh God! Can that hold? Thank goodness! Oh my God! For the love of God! The cage broke! The ring broke! And Cactus Jack has broken in half! Bang bang!
I could listen to that stuff all friggin' day long. Welcome back to the show. You know, much like our guest here a couple days ago, Hulk Hogan, our next guest is one of the most beloved and respected characters in the history of professional wrestling, and he's also found plenty of success through writing, television, movies, radio. We probably don't even know the half of it. I know he'll always have our support. We're crazy about the guy. It's the hardcore legend, WWE Hall of Famer, Mick Foley. Good morning, Mick.
Hey, man. I was listening to those calls. I sounded like I was pretty good.
We agree.
You did good, Mick. You did good.
Yeah, well, it's amazing how much those classic calls by Jim Ross went hand in hand with some of the biggest moments of my life. So just want to make it clear, I'm showing up by myself for these events. JR will not be making the calls with me. So
Okay.
he's not part of the package.
Oh, wow. I mean, we appreciate you being with us this morning. True story, Hulk Hogan was in our studio here a couple days ago, Mick, and he called you a, quote, sweetheart.
Oh, that's nice, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes things get said, in a competitive business like ours. And, Hulk and I had a few unfortunate words to the media, over 20 years ago.
Right.
And then we did a show called Most Wanted Treasures where Hulk was the guest. And he made it a point to apologize to me on air and off air. And, I said, it wasn't necessary, but it was really very much appreciated. And so, we've got a good friendship now. So I really like Hulk. That's nice of him to say.
That's great to hear, and we had a great time with Hulk Hogan. But I don't understand. How could anyone have one bad word to say about you, Mick Foley?
If you look close enough, there's been. I wandered off like in 2010, maybe 2009, when I first learned how to use a computer. Into a chat room. And I was like, I thought I was universally beloved until I, went down that rabbit hole. I was like, wow, there's some people who really don't like me. So.
That sucks.
That's kind of how the internet is, right?
I know, man. I guess if everyone likes you, like John Cena was the most popular wrestler and the most despised. And I think the same thing goes, there are comics, who, people love and people hate. So if everyone loves you, you're probably, no, you need to be either loved or hated. If people are in the middle, that's where you kind of die in our business,
Mick, do you mind if I tell folks what you got going the next couple of days?
Oh, I'd be very appreciative.
Absolutely. You can see Mick Foley at the Ridgedale Mall in Minnetonka tomorrow at Fan HQ. Our pal Sean runs that joint. Hello, Sean, and thanks for everything. Around 6 o'clock tomorrow night, Mick will be walking on in. You can go to the fanhqstore.com, fanhqstore.com for more information. That's where you can get autograph or photo op tickets. Do things ever get a little crazy at the meet and greets, Mick?
Well, they did in Saudi Arabia, but I don't think Minnetonka is going to be. I guess I now have to tell you what happened in Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah.
I was in there, about 15 years ago for their national video convention, video game.
Okay.
And it was the video people who were paying me, and they were paying me pretty well to be over there. And when I got there, there was no semblance of a line. It was just a mass of people. And you come in, and it's like you feel like one of the Beatles. They have a group of security like in a circle around you, and then they just start moving you through the crowd. And as I sit down, and I'm again trying to sign for people who are not in a line, and I hear this thumping sound behind me, maybe about 20 yards behind me. And about 10 minutes into the appearance, the WWE rep says, Mick, we've got to go. And I said, no, I can get through all these people. And then the video representative, these are the guys who are paying me, goes, you hear that sound behind you? I said, yes. He goes, those are people trying to break down the wall to get to you.
Oh, geez.
And I said, and we're out of here.
Yeah, that's scary.
And then I think 6 months later, I went to another Muslim country. I should know. It's the one with the world's tallest building. And it was completely opposite. It was so well run, and its organization is everything. And we're going to have a good time. We were just talking yesterday with, I did a show. I do an annual Hell in a Cell anniversary show. So I did it at the Kowloon, huge, it's like a famous institution right outside Boston. And the woman from the Kowloon was saying that anytime we've had a wrestling event, the fans are always great. And people don't realize that about wrestling fans. They're super respectful. They're always nice, and I do not expect any kind of problem. And this isn't 2001 where there would be 1,000 people. This is 2024. There is going to be a couple hundred people, I hope. And that's why we just said, hey, it's 6 o'clock until whenever. I make sure everyone gets done. But if we're done at 8, we're done at 8. If we're done at 9, we're done at 9. But everyone walks away. I have a pretty good signature. I make sure that there's a little work to be seen. I'm not an initial guy. That's kind of the new trend to give people their initials, which I think is disrespectful to your fans. So I give them I take some time. I have a nice signature. and I try to make sure everyone has a good interaction.
I'm sure you do. The Hell in a Cell reunion. What do you sit around and watch that match? And
No. I basically in 2018 I did a 20 Years of Hell show. Centered. It was just, and it's not comedy, but they are comedic stories. You get a lot of laughs, but there's and one of the tricks is one of the challenges is trying to find humor in a subject that doesn't seem to be humorous.
Right.
And then you kind of dig deep and you find laughs, and there's also some drama, and I just, basically made it known, like, yes, this is the same show I did 6 years ago. I do it once a year, and we sold it out pretty quickly, and it was a fun event, and I know that last time I was in the Minnesota area for a convention about 2.5 years ago, that was really well attended. So this is a good area of the country for me.
We know you're going to get a great crowd tomorrow night. Absolutely. Recently I bumped into a video where you and The Undertaker sat down and watched your infamous Hell in a Cell match from 1998, and the two of you critiqued the match and had some fun with it. Do you go back often and watch old matches just for fun? Or
No, I really don't. With the Cell match, I'd gone many, many years, 10 years or more, without watching it in its entirety. And it was, I came home one day from the road, and my wife said, the kids want to see the match. These are my young kids. They were like 6 and 8 at the time. And I was like, or maybe they were still in preschool. I was like, how do they know about that match? She said, people in school, elementary school, they're talking about it. And I sat down and I watched the match in its entirety with my wife and my young kids, and I realized that it's really pretty powerful to watch in its entirety. Like, even for people who are not wrestling fans, they're moved by it. They may not become a fan, but they gain a new appreciation for it, and it's kind of like the go-to match that every wrestling fan shows their, like, cynical non-fan friends. So I'm proud to be part of that match.
Mick, why did you agree to do that match before it happened?
Well, it's not a matter of agreeing to do the match. It's agreeing, it is coming up with the, stupid ideas that went on to make that match famous, and then trying to talk The Undertaker into being a partner in my own stupidity. And that was a really nice time to sit down with him, and it did big numbers, which should not be important, but it is.
Yeah.
So it did big numbers, and it was really nice to relive that.
We're talking with Mick Foley here on the Half-Assed Morning Show, and there's one other bit of information I should dump on our listening audience and Mick Foley's fans. You're going to go to Wisconsin. You're returning to Wisconsin for one day only this Saturday. Mick will be on hand for an event called the Midwest All-Star Wrestling's High Stakes 3, and this is over at St. Croix Casino in Danbury. Going to be a meet and greet with Mick at noon to 3:30. Wrestling begins at 3:30. They say here there's very limited tickets remaining, and you need a ticket to take part in the meet and greet. So tomorrow Minnetonka, and then you go over to Wisco on Saturday. We keep hearing stories, Mick, about your life being made into a movie. We'd love to see that. What's the latest? We've seen plenty of documentaries.
Yeah. This would be a series.
Oh, that'd be great.
Been in the works for a few years. The odds are always against the project, coming to fruition. But they've got a couple of. When I say a couple, I mean Paul Walter Hauser is very interested in playing the role, and while he doesn't look like me, and he's actually quite a bit shorter, I don't think people realize that I was as tall as I was when I wrestled. I think he's such a great actor that he could create that feeling like it would be an interpretation instead of an imitation, and I think he'd do a really good job. And it would be I don't want to say too much, I don't want to jinx it, but it's come a long way already, and again, the odds are against it happening, but it would be based. It wouldn't be like Young Rock, but it would be based on the years before I got to WWE.
Okay.
Well, that guy's funny. That guy's funny, Paul Walter.
Yeah, he's so good, man. He's so good. And I think wrestling fans would enjoy his portrayal, and I think non-fans would be drawn to it because he would really bring a lot of heart and soul and humor to my character.
We would eat it up. That would be absolutely outstanding. We got our fingers crossed for that.
Thank you.
We know you got to get going here pretty soon, Mick, but I wanted to ask you about one of the truly inspiring things about you is how charitable you are and how willing you are to try and help people. Do you have anything in particular going now that our listeners and your fans could contribute to?
Oh, man. Last night we were able to raise $2,000 for the Jimmy Fund for pediatric cancer in Boston and surrounding areas by auctioning the shirt off my back. I do that anytime I do a live event.
Oh, cool.
It usually goes for like $300 or $400. Clearly these are just things I bought from Amazon for $25, $30. And I'm happy, to be picking up a few $100s for a good cause, at every stop. But last night there was a great bidding war that went for a couple $1,000s. I mean, my big project, I had funded a school in Kenya a couple of years ago, and over the next 2 years, I'm building onto that with a playing field and a early childhood education center. But that's not really, that's not something people can join in at this point. Of course, if they want to make a donation to any great organization their heart, leads them to, that's always appreciated. But no, I don't have like a fundraiser that I'm doing at this time.
Okay. Well, I mean, the list is long, the events that you've given your time to. And, we said it earlier, not only are we fans of what you did as a professional wrestler, but, I mean, we think so highly of you for what you've done in your personal life and the charity that you get involved in. It's cool to have someone like you around, Mick Foley.
Well, hey, I appreciate that. Thank you for the plug, for the kind words.
Yes.
And I guess I'll see some of your listeners out there in Minnetonka and in Danbury, Wisconsin.
We'll give folks another heads up on all that information before we go off the air. But thanks, Mick Foley. We appreciate your time very much. Have fun this weekend.
You got it. Have a nice day.
You bet. Have a nice day. I knew it. God, I love that.
I'll see you later. Okay, thank you.
See you, Mick. That was great. Yeah, and again, tomorrow, Ridgedale Mall at Fan HQ. Fan HQ. Around 6 o'clock, Mick's going to be there. Go to fanhqstore.com for all the information. How do you get your autograph and photo op tickets? And then tomorrow, Danbury, Wisconsin. There's a sexy radio guy who does advertisements for St. Croix Casino, Danbury, and Turtle Lake.
You're right. I've heard those commercials. It's pure sex right in my ears.
That's right. Saturday.
That was Cactus Jack.
Bang, bang.
Mm-hmm. Saturday out there at St. Croix Casino, Danbury, for a wrestling show, and there'll be a meet and greet with Mick from noon to 3:30.
And you mentioned Sean from Fan HQ. I've said this before. He has the look I want, right? He's tall, thin, cool-looking dude, cool hair.
He's got a cool hairdo.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And he's into a lot of the same stuff we are. Yeah.
Thank you, Sean, for everything. Real quick, Mick's got other things to do. We didn't get a chance to go too far with him, but on the subject of how charitable this guy is, if you haven't heard this story, it's one of my favorite stories. Mick became involved with the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, working as a volunteer to help folks who have been abused. He sat and logged more than 550 hours talking to victims on their telephone hotline.
Wow.
And even better, he offered to mow anyone's lawn who donated at least $5,000 to the organization. Isn't that hilarious?
That's awesome.
And just heartfelt and all that? I guess at the time he said, if you want to help survivors of sexual assault or just want to see a big guy with long hair mowing your lawn in front of your friends, please take part. That's the kind of guy we're talking about. Wasn't that great talking to Mick Foley?
That was cool.
Yeah, that was
He's
sweet.
a treasure.
Mm-hmm. What a sweet, sweet, wonderful guy. A couple people have texted in saying, well, you had Hogan on a Tuesday. You had Foley on Thursday. Please tell me tomorrow means an appearance in studio by Gangrel. I can't confirm an in-studio interview with Gangrel. or not. People texted in about Foley. Shouldn't he have a flannel shirt endorsement by now?
You would think so.
Yeah.
So, I was looking at the Fan HQ stuff, and you can buy one of his Buffalo plaids, and then he'll autograph it, too.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he does have his own flannel shirt line?
Yep.
Oh, I did not know that.
And then you can also buy Mr. Sacco, and he'll autograph that, too.
That's
awesome.
Tomorrow night at Fan HQ.
Yes. Yep.
I'd have him autograph a Mr. Sacco.
That is really cool.
Speaking of Mr. Sacco, a listener texted in and said, my brother used to do the Sacco bit to me when I was a kid with his dirty ass socks. Right in his yap, dude. Just, that was a blast. We don't still have the audio of Mick Foley when his teeth fell out when he was shouting into a microphone about Braun Strowman. We don't. Is that?
If we do, we wouldn't be able to.
Don't worry about it.
We can't do anything. Oh, yeah. If you give me like 30 seconds, I might be able to make this.
Well, don't hurt yourself. We want to give away some Booze Cruise tickets before we leave. We forgot to invite Foley on the Booze Cruise.
For folks that go out and see him, ask him tomorrow if he'd join us.
Yeah, I might even run out there. It's right
I think
down.
I might, too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Why don't you pick me up so I can drink?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's right down the road from my house where you're coming all the way from western Wisconsin in that stupid town that you live.
Well, I'll be coming from Champlin.
Oh, now you're
because I have a gig tomorrow night.
You got a gig?
Tell us about it.
Tell us about your gig.
I'll be at Cub Wine and Spirits in Champlin from 4 to 6. It's a birthday party.
Woo. For whom is it? Anybody we know?
No, I have no idea.
So you're going to be in Champlin till 6 with the Coors Light people. What's the name of the joint?
Cub Wine and Spirits, they call it.
Cub Wine and Spirit. And then you're going to race down possibly to Ridgedale to bother Mick Foley.
Yeah, I might. It's on the top of my head right now.
Call a pimp.
All right.
I'll meet you there if you'd like.
It's Wapple's birthday tomorrow.
It's your. Oh, I didn't get it. It's your birthday tomorrow.
Yeah, that's why I thought it'd be kind of cool to run down and see him on my birthday. Kind of like stars aligning. Like he's one of my favorite wrestlers.
How old are you going to be tomorrow?
I'm going to be 32.
32.
We didn't plan anything. Sorry, dude.
That's all good. That was cool enough. Just asking Mick Foley a question.
What do you feel like a guy should do on his 32nd birthday? What do you think's fitting for a man that's reached your age?
Oh, boy. Maybe have a beer, talk to Mick Foley, and go to bed by 8?
That sounds perfect, Wapple.
32, not 62.
Yeah, 32. I mean, a lot of us could still bring it at 32.
Right.
Oh, man, I could still. Oh, I could, Cubby.
Yeah, you could bring it.
In all different ways.
Yeah.
My 33rd birthday was my last real fist fight.
Oh. Important anniversary to mark.
My last real fist fight was on my 33rd birthday. I can tell you that.
Did you win?
Yeah, we did. We did.
That's good. You went out a winner.
No. Not really.
Nobody's a winner in a fight, Ashley.
No. Woke up the next morning, my right thumb was the size of your mother's ass. And my girlfriend at the time was glaring at me like I was the biggest loser of all time, which I was, for getting into a fist fight.
Mick Foley's teeth falling out.
You will never win. It does not match up well. He's not a competitor.
No.
He's not an entertainer. He's not a wrestler. He's a monster. He will destroy it.
There you go.
How many times have people told you, Mick?
2 falsies just came spilling out of his yap right there. That was great. That was great.
Good stuff.
Oh, I don't know. I'm about done. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, we should probably go. I don't want anybody. Is Lindsay on after us? I don't know who's on after us today.
It's either Lindsay or Jill. I heard Jill yesterday.
Me
that
too.
Was sweet.
She's wonderful. Happy 30th to Rice County Bushlight Jesus. This text says a birthday shout out to Doll from Sandy. Happy 50th. Shoot, I meant 32. Now she's going to beat me, the text said. And to say thank you for sticking with us this morning. We'd like to give you an opportunity to hop on a fun annual boat ride we take around the 4th of July every year in the St. Croix. Text the word STERN, S-T-E-R-N, STERN, to the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, 651-989-9393. That's your shot to win tickets to the Half-Assed Morning Show Booze Cruise next Friday with our very accommodating friends at Stillwater Riverboats, who, don't worry, they can keep a secret. So have as much fun as you want. They won't tell a soul. We'd love to meet you, and at least in my case, talk your ear off about topics you have absolutely no interest in. But you know what? You're trapped. You're on a boat. You can't go anywhere. Best of luck, and sincerely, thank you so much for listening this morning. Have the greatest Thursday a person could ever have. Hope to see you again tomorrow.
93X.
93X. The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
It is fun, sun, and savings time at Standard Heating and Air with incredible savings on AC units, heat pumps, and combo deals this month to ensure your air quality is up to snuff this summer. Go to standardheating.com for more info or to schedule your appointment today.